Bro, you shut up. You can't tell me shut up, bro. Bro, you white, boy. I don't care, bro. You don't care.
Why do you sue me so late?
My buddy. All right, Rico and Lou, what's going on?
No, I'm trolling. I'm having fun.
Oh, I would have given you if you wanted me to.
Oh, yeah, we got.
Listen, I like Lou.
He likes Rico more than Lou.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I do like Lou, but there is a hierarchy, and.
Wait, T, what if I say kick out Rico? Do I come before Rico?
What if I say kick out David?
I would do.
Wow, wait, I'm a little nice. Damn, I thought it was higher than that.
You hot?
No, Q told me to kick out any of you guys. You guys are gone.
It's hot. Q.
So John, you've had stolen valor done upon you. This was in Roger Mayhem's room. Has there been like a form of like, has there been a sorry? Like, was there an apology? Yeah, where's the reparations here? Because stolen valor, the accusation of that is just shocking to me. By another veteran, and then you're proved again incorrect. Did he apologize, John? And if not, did Roger Mayhem issue, possibly any consequences? John, are you working on your other? You're working on your other 72 photos? Because here's the thing: if it happened on my room, I'm just gonna be honest here. If this happened in my room, and someone was like, "You're stolen valor," and then the guy proved correct, and that guy said nothing about it, said, "I don't believe it," whatever, he wouldn't be allowed in anymore. That man wouldn't be allowed in.
I would bet you $1,000.
It would be $1,000.
You get 72 virgins. If you're a Jew, you get 72 phones.
Was it Brad that accused him of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Brad said, "John, you did not serve. You were lying to everyone." John then showed.
It's the Diogenes.
Yes.
That he served.
Yes.
So $1,000.
I mentioned that we've had now 2 individuals dox themselves. Now, John already doxed himself, but Diogenes doxed himself to one individual, and that information hasn't spread around, which is good. But listen, they both did their jobs. They both said, "Hey," and one of them was supposed to get paid for it, $1,000. Where's that money? It's time to get paid. Are you owed money on Clubhouse? Because it's time to get paid.
Yeah, and he would deny he said that, but when they played the clip, he said like, I know I owe you $1,000. I'm never gonna pay you. so he missed it.
And listen. Diogenes said, "Listen, I'll forget the money. I'm gonna forget the money. You don't owe me the money. All you have to do is issue an apology. All you have to do is just say you're sorry, Brad." No, couldn't do it. Still owes the money. Listen, Brad. Doing this to multiple veterans, and we have other veterans on the staff who protect him. It's kind of just. I'm not even a veteran, but this is why I don't take service. The service super serious, because they don't even treat it this way. Like, this is supposed to be a brotherhood, is what I've been told. That, like, once you're in, you're in. I've seen fraternities treat their
always pay my bets.
Hang up.
Yo, PB, shut your bitch ass up.
Go Thursday.
You be hanging out with a bunch of cocks in here. Everyone's fucking faggots in here.
What's that?
Shut the fuck up, you fucking skeleton, skinwalker, fucking
What's that? What are you mad? What's that? What are you talking about, Sam?
What if Lou said kick out him?
Anyways, bye everyone.
Oh. Why do you leave?
Well, he had to.
You got kicked.
Oh, you kicked him?
No, I did not kick him.
Oh, that's pussy.
Don't spread that around. He's always hanging out with Abby Hodgins.
Oh, shit. It's back with that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fuck him. Yeah, go.
Fuck off, it's not the
But yeah, I mean, listen, it's great that individuals, and I heard over the weekend that Roger Mayhem got doxxed. Okay, did you guys hear about this?
He's a J.
Yes, I heard about it, yeah.
Guys, what's up with these people being super fat? What's up with every single person being obese on this app?
Oh, shit, they got his photo?
Yeah, there's a
I
couple
mean-
people. There's a couple people. I wouldn't name names. But yeah, there's like.
He looks like either a Mexican or Middle. He looks off-white. Okay, he's not white. He might be a Jew, but he's a fat Jew. He's a fat. I mean, he has mentioned how people need to stop eating these disgusting foods and work. I'm like, yo, shut up. Like you're a fat. Like you are like. It's not like you're like, oh, you could gain to lose 20 pounds, right? Like, oh, you need to hit the gym for 2 months and you're good. No, this guy is like lifestyle must change immediately, or you're gonna die by heart disease. Right?
It's insane that people are just figuring this out.
Yeah, there's a couple people that never show their picture, but then someone showed their picture. It was like, wow, that's what they look like. Wow.
Well, listen. Everyone will say a lot of things about Keegan, all right? Everyone will say a lot. Guess what? Everyone knows what I look like.
Yeah,
Everyone knows.
we can see you right now petting your dog. Yeah.
Hey, listen. Everyone can see what I look like, all right? I've done different pictures. I've updated pictures. I've shown you what I look like with my daughter before, right? I've always looked the same. Why? Because I'm not fat. I'm not eating freaking junk food every day. Come on, guys. And, it's crazy.
Your wife that cooks.
Yeah, it's wife get a white woman who cooks, baby, and you're not eating out.
He gets it.
Today I had rice and chicken, which the chicken was not that well seasoned. I'll be honest.
That's kind of boring.
Usually she's on it. Usually,
I mean, that's a good deal.
Yeah, but that's plain though.
Looks like a good lean deal.
How about a steak and pasta, Keegan? How about that?
I do like steak.
Pasta is high
You had
carbs.
chicken for breakfast?
Pasta's full of carbs.
It's 12:30, Lou.
Oh, Jesus, you're on the East Coast?
Yeah.
The dogs.
Dogs. Listen, here's the thing though. When people are like you doxed them. Like I think doxing is wrong. Number one, doxing is wrong. If you find out personal information, someone keep to yourself. And that's my opinion.
Well, what?
That's great.
If I was doxed,
You said in the room, like you said something to somebody and you regretted it because she started telling people. What did you say?
about Brad.
No. You said in the room like you regretted telling somebody something personal about you, a story about you, and then.
Yeah, I am. All right.
Well, you don't have to say exactly what you said about
No.
what
Everyone knows the story. Adams, Dr. Adams, he's a joke. First of all, he was gay for the first 2 years of class.
He's not gay.
No.
I know he's not gay anymore, but he literally I remember when he was gay, right? I remember when he was I'm a gay.
Did he pray the gay away?
He prayed the gay away.
He's a closet.
So Adams one time, I was in a room with a few individuals who at the time I thought I could trust. This was about a year and a half ago. And they're like, Keaton, why are you on the app? It's like a Thursday night at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. I go, I just put my daughter down. I got the house all to myself for the next week. And they're like, what? I shared that my wife is overseas right now on a want to continue to make fun of me, that's fine. But when that happened, I shared that to Adams. Adams then, literally the following week, had a clubhouse, not room, but like a clubhouse, whatever they're freaking called. And it was titled, Miss Keegan's Trip to Africa. And I was like, what is going on? And he was going on telling everyone that she was like sleeping with a bunch of black men and having gangbangs. I was like, what the heck? I was shocked, guys, right? Like, I'd never beefed with that before. And then I started, and of course so Adams is a joke. Adams is truly, talk about, and this is what you really have to learn, and what I've learned, and everyone knows that story, and people know that. If you want to make fun of me, that's fine, whatever. I mean, do I think that I'm going to let my wife probably go overseas again without me? Yeah, probably not. But at the time, it's whatever. It was required. It was part of her job. But it doesn't matter. She doesn't have a job anymore. That's never going to happen again. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Moving on.
Wow, single income provider. Amazing.
I am. Yeah.
Flex.
At the time, though, we couldn't be. At the time, we still had a bunch of loans that were paying off, and that's fine. But she was working from home, which is great. But there was one thing that the job required, which is that, hey, you have to take one trip, to Israel, you have to pray at the Wailing Wall, and we'll fully paid expense. This is a full woman company too, because I told her, I was like, I don't feel comfortable going to. We're not on a trip with men, of course. She said, only women, it's okay. But so, anyways, it doesn't really matter. Also,
Wait, how did you go from?
Also men who are like, if you can't trust your like, people are like, what if your woman cheats on you? If my wife wanted to cheat on me right now, she could. If she wanted to bring over Tyrone and get railed while I'm working, she could do that.
But Keegan, how did it go from your wife going on a safari trip for work to effing a lot of black men? How did it go?
Well, that's just kind of tough. Africa, guess what? They're gonna go get robots by men. They don't understand what virtue is way off. Adams made that joke. Keep up. So, Adams, Jazzy, Shy, and then that gets to Brad. So at some point, Brad gets it. And Brad has continued to only say this over and over again. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, when he was arguing with you, he was saying that. I was like, where did it even come from? That insult that he's trying to throw you.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, it's the same repetition again. I was like, okay, I can't. This is the thing, and then this is the point. You can't share if you don't want personal information. I don't get mad about that because I shared that information out to the clubhouse. I shouldn't have because I didn't think it was going to be used. Again, only one person used it against me. Shouldn't have at the end of the day. And it's on me. Roger gets mad saying that Pepe doxed him because Pepe put his PTR as a screenshot of Roger getting interviewed, and Roger's upset because guess what?
Whoa. This wasn't like his home address or something.
No.
Wait, he's done an interview?
Yes, he did an interview.
And then he's fair game. He's out
I know. That's what I'm saying. It is on a public act. So he did a public interview on YouTube.
guys planning on dating him or something? You like examining his Bumble account? Like, what's the point about the guy's body mass index? I know you want to make fun of fat people. Well,
Listen here. Here's the thing with John. John can. We all know what John looks like. I've seen John. I've seen more shit of John than I've seen of most men in my life. Okay. John's out in the open, baby.
But John, I've seen him do like semi-naked yoga, unfortunately. Like bending over like he's on the fucking toilet with his head in his like.
We've all seen it. So John, so John's shameless. I get it. But everyone got mad at Pepe though. It just doesn't make sense. Again, Pepe's not doxing anyone. He's just posting a PTR of a screenshot of without his name. And I thought it was very, very funny. And I find it again very funny by people who claim to have this like morality of I cannot believe you did that. Even the picture itself is a dox. He did not want that shared, Pepe. How dare you? Blah blah blah. And again, we have other people on this app. The people who called out Pepe was I don't call him out. JB, freaking Roger, all of Roger's mods. They all called out Pepe. Well, let me get this straight. You guys all have Brad and Adam at times modding your rooms. Brad, who's yelled stolen valor to multiple men now on this app. Adams, who's literally like made rooms about people's wives, made clubhouse about people's wives or houses, what they're called. So you don't come to me with some morality check. Don't come to me saying we need to come together and have a honest debate about the ethics of what people are doing on this. No, shut up. You're no one. Like you're it's crazy to me. It's blasphemy. It's blasphemy in the finest. So are you owed money on Clubhouse? Because it's time to get paid, baby. John is definitely owed money on Clubhouse. You know who John's owed money by? He's owed money by Clubhouse itself, okay? Clubhouse should be paying John at least a weekly check of at least $1,000 for doing the hard work of streaming every house for them. Now, when Clubhouse starts a room, it starts off on replay, and it takes me 3 different screens just to get off of it. They're trying to do John's stuff. You guys already have the replays. It's on John's house. All right. So John.
On YouTube, think of the bandwidth he's saving the Clubhouse. He's been on Google search.
I mean, no, John is doing the work that Clubhouse has needed for years now. So John needs to get paid for Clubhouse. We have Mr. Anderson on stage, who has required payment from El Normo for months of $150. Where's that money, you? Where's that money? I'm over $1,000 by Craig, a single black man who probably has a few baby mamas. That's why he can't afford it. He's probably evading the police right now as we speak.
Shut the hell up, geeky racist bitch.
Diogenes is out of the room. He's also owed $1,000. We have to always remember that will never die. I will never let that die. Because here's the thing. Because that has like ramifications of being like stolen valor, right? Just like John Kitover. Which John, I wish John, and you should have. The second he said you never reserved, you should be like $1,000, right? Like John, you should have went right at him and been like 1,000. He would have owed $2,000 on 2 separate. Oh man.
he goes insane. Like it could be a TBI, who knows, but he literally loses it. He goes on these huge rampages, and if you break down what he says and you listen to it, it's wild. It's like death threat after death threat after death threat. Who?
The PTR.
Well, the worst thing is Pepe ruined my campaign manager. He chased my only campaign manager off and campaign fundraiser off. So, yeah, Roger Mayhem was platforming me and helping me do fundraising for the campaign. We raised $550 off of Clubhouse already. Pepe ruined that. Instead, Pepe and his amazing show is a little bit like your amazing show, just with a different
Wow,
antagonist.
I just got a message. I just got a message about 20 minutes ago. I'm still sorry to cut you off, John. I really do not want to cut you off here. But this is important because I was just talking about Mr. Adams, Dr. Adams. He said, just so, I'm reading it out loud. I don't even care anymore. Like if we're going to get bad, like this is just flat out I'm just done with these guys. Just some advice. I wouldn't have Mr. Anderson on stage. People follow him around and report him for the crap he says. Hey, just so you know, hey John, I appreciate you being in the room. You're gonna have to, you have to change that room title to the Brad King Show. I have Brad blocked, as I don't want Brad to think that we're truly throwing a bunch of shade at him. You can put it back at the Keegan Show against, the decks that are owed on the app, sure. But that's hilarious. Mr. Harrison. I should not have you on stage. You know what, Mr. Harrison? You're making look out. That's so crazy. Like the idea that people need to dictate.
Rent free in these fucking niggas' heads, bro.
Rent free, man. This is crazy. We're living rent free. It's so crazy. You're gonna personally DM me and tell me that I can't have someone on my stage.
Well,
I
there's
can't have
three
someone on my stage.
there's three
What if I made him a
anonymous.
moderator? What if I made him a moderator, huh?
There's
What
three
if I did that?
there's three anon in your audience, and I'd be willing to bet one of the people you're talking about is one of those anons.
I bet they are. And Adam, if you want to come up on stage, he's modded now, buddy. What are we doing right now?
Does he have a little signs? This paper?
He might. He might. And that's the crazy thing, okay? Is that individual, Mr. Dr. Adams, why is he so, I don't get the people who are self-hating race people. How are you gonna hate yourself? Listen, I might not like the black man that much. But if I was a black man, I would love the black man. That's who I am. I love white men. I'm a white man. I love white men. Alright, can I say that out loud? I love white men. I also love white women. I love a little bit more than white men. Yeah. But if you're a black man.
Wait, Keegan, let me just say something that I think it's interesting that Dr. Adams is the one who spread the gossip about your wife, but I do want to say there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe, because Dr. Adams has been very helpful in the campaign to elect John, because he goes around with a Darren LaHood PTR now, and so I've been filming him making a fool of himself, which is incredibly damaging to the campaign to elect Darren LaHood. So I wouldn't be surprised if Darren LaHood sues Dr. Adams for essentially libel and slander on Clubhouse.
Dr. Adams has now sent me a cease and desist. He has sent me a cease and desist. He said, I'm going to send you a personal message and put you on a fair warning. If you mention my name again, I'm going to sue the F out of you and embarrass you like you've never seen. He's in the room. Dr. Adams, if you can hear me, you're in the room. If you can hear me, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Well, we got Matt Cool in the audience, and yesterday Matt did a room with Dr. Adams in the One House, and I debated them for about 2 hours. It's a 5-hour room.
Very interesting. Is it recorded, John?
Yeah, click on Matt's profile, or I believe my profile, and you can see the new One House that Matt has. It's called "We Are Solving the National Debt."
Okay. Yeah, so, Ann, hello, Ann. If you owe money on Clubhouse, it's time to get paid. And the only reason why I bring up Adams is, again, is as a story about me, which is that it's a story about doxing. It's a story about
He can
if you
go
don't want
to
your
his
information,
wife. He
should
told
be
us
shared.
that his wife was going on a trip to Africa and he had to take off
Was it?
time at work
it's hard to remain anonymous, but the anonymous feature for $5 a month is fantastic because I have been able to record a lot of rooms and live stream people that kick me out of the rooms, and when they see that they're being live streamed on YouTube, it drives them at. Oh, her Jazzy's back.
One more thing. A man who has pictures that I have acquired with his balls in the air. The Chicago one, a congressman that has OnlyFans. I don't think so. And anyone that donated to Mr. Edmonds' campaign, please know all of your information will be public once he reaches a $5,000 threshold of donations. He has to submit to the state of Illinois a campaign donation list with all of your addresses and phone numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, Raboy Line, Shaloi Line, Raboy Line, Shaloi Line. You've all been played for fools. Your public information will be public. And Keegan, I thought I doxed you, but I doxed Q plus instead. Wrong guy. Same ugly wife though.
Keegan, feel free to mute my profile whenever you're done listening to this. So keep going.
Ugly internet wives that you found on the internet. And Keegan, we know that you can't leave your kids with your parents because you have black siblings. You don't want your kids with your siblings. You hate black people. And your parents had to take a class to learn how to comb your sibling's hair.
I'm so sorry that you got doxxed.
Remember you pushed your sibling down the stairs because he's black. Do you remember telling Abby that story?
She said she actually gave my rib to you. Guys, I do the video of Jazzy eating chicken wings, okay? I have a video of Jazzy doing probably the most racial stereotype ever, okay?
Did you share that? What do you
No,
say?
allegedly, you think not.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't just said she just said that, John. Just said that, John.
Oh, I didn't hear what she said.
She said, okay, so here's the story.
And your wife went over to Africa and had a missionary trip for the work.
Alright, okay, I don't want to listen to the same thing over and over again. I appreciate that. Q, so about a week ago, I was sent the infamous TikTok video by someone else, and it was a screen recording. I was sent it by someone, I won't say who, of Jazzy eating a chicken wing from Publix.
Damn.
And it's like,
Publix.
if you need to get in a good mood or something, these chicken wings from Publix.
Chicken wings from Publix.
It's the funniest thing ever. I laughed so hard when I saw it. It made so much sense. And also, just a public TikTok. Well, so then, I made a joke to her, Jazzy. I went to her room and I go, man, you ever go down to WWO, Publix chicken wing? And she kicks me. And later on, she came to my room later on. And Mr. Hanson, you were in there. And she comes in, she goes, and she actually then sent that TikTok video into our chat. Did you watch that, Mr. Harrison? She sent the link in the red heifer room. Yeah, when I had that red heifer room, she came in and she was like, she started laughing. She goes, making literally monkey noises at this point. I'm feeling, so she's excited. This is her time to get excited.
You might not follow the house or anybody in there. Yep. I will ping you. Edie, I'm going to ping you too.
Okay.
John, we're getting ready to go into Are You Owed Money on Clubhouse? All right. I'll ping you.
So she goes to that, and she leaves the room. Never doxed me, of course, because I didn't
Also,
watch the video.
everyone that clicks my
Nor do
TikTok,
I
I will see your profile. So please don't let Keegan get you wrapped up in a doxing competition. Also, Keegan, you just doxed me. Anytime you release
She's been moved to the audience. Oh, what happened to that trans point? I was hoping I could make fun of point.
It's not, here's the thing, it's not doxing if I never say something. It's not doxing if I just say, I like chicken wings. Right?
You can come on a social audio chat and say, I like chicken wings without it being associated to a lot of people that like chicken wings. Yeah.
Yeah, I like chicken wings from Publix. She then doxed her own self by saying, that's my video that you saw. I know that you saw it. Okay, well now you doxed yourself. Right? I never told anyone that I saw the video until you said it. You said it on a public stage, you know, so that's really, really interesting. Again, these people are hypersensitive about their own selves, I've realized. Right? Like, what are we doing here, guys? Like,
It's dopamine. It's dopamine. It's stirring the pot to create dopamine. That's why they do it. That's why we do it.
that's why we all do it. I go with John here. It is a dopamine hit. And it is true dopamine. But again, you know, listen, I am a simple man who needs his simple $1,000 from Craig. Craig, if anyone can hear me, get Craig in here. And right now, this stage is a little bit too white for me, okay? I'm trying to get a Craig in here. Craig owes me $1,000, okay? It's on recording. I'm trying to get paid. I'm a poor white man from middle of America.
I don't think Craig doesn't like you enough, Ian.
Craig doesn't like me, but he made a bet. He needs to be a man about it. And so if you owe money, if you're owed money on Clubhouse, it's time to get you paid.
So Craig just put in the chat in my other room. Craig wrote, Keegan is a white bitch who I will fuck in the ass and rape. Also, he also wrote, take my motherfucking name out your motherfucking mouth, you white bitch ass cracker.
Well,
Keegan, I'm guessing you don't want someone to have sex with you as a man, correct?
no, I don't. Surprisingly, I don't.
Why are you Craig?
Craig, what
That's
Craig, what are you doing? So, Craig, I'll take my name. I'll take your name out of my mouth. But I just want to get paid first.
He said he's strapping up, getting in his car, and driving to your house to find you.
Whoa.
Ooh, what?
He said he's bringing a package of chicken wings and 2 gats and a box of ammunition.
That's fun, Craig. Oh, Craig.
When I walk in, well, Keegan, just out of curiosity, do you have you don't have to say you don't want to, but do you have a gun in your house?
Yes, but, you know, surprisingly, in middle America, low middle class whites, we own guns. Fun fact, we like guns. Fun fact, I'm strapped right now, fun fact. I say guns every day. As the black man would say, I'm strapped.
What are you? Are you an FBI agent or an auto diagnostic employee?
I'm an auto diagnostic employee.
With the dots.
So John, I'm gonna say, of course, that is a actually no required open carry here. No requirement at all. God bless the Second Amendment.
So
Wait, Keegan is strapped. Craig is strapped on. So you definitely don't live in Illinois.
So let me ask.
I bet your mind gets bigger than yours, King.
It probably is.
So let me ask the question: if we've all spent years on this stupid app talking to stupid people, does that make us stupid, or just stupid because we haven't gotten paid for having stupid conversations with stupid people?
Well, listen, if I get paid $1,000, then I believe every day on this app was meaningful. If I get paid $1,000, every day becomes meaningful. Now, if I never get paid $1,000, every day becomes one.
That's like 10 cents a minute, though, for you.
And also, what if somebody pulls up to your house with a gun? It's also not worth it.
So, I mean, you think it's actually worth $6 an hour to be here? I would say if Clubhouse was to pay out based on the data that you submit, you would probably get like 30 cents on the dollar or 30 cents an hour. Do you remember? Maybe some of you are too young. Does anybody remember My Points? It was like a web browser where if you clicked on certain things and did things, you would accrue points and get a cash payout, or you could buy from like their prize list. Like that's technically how the internet should be, because so many people give up their whole lives to these apps and get no compensation, while the app is monetizing you and selling, your ad space. So I'm just saying that this app is so pathetic, and the founders and leaders of this app are so pathetic, and they're such petty little selfish cretins that they can't even open up the opportunity for people to monetize here like they do on X. Jazzy writes, Jasmine Franklin life on TikTok. Run up my views on TikTok so I can get a check, unlike broke ass Keegan the white bitch. So Matt, I'm wondering if you want to be my new campaign manager or de facto campaign manager now that Roger has essentially gone back to work and is no longer using Clubhouse. Matt, can you open up a one house called the John Kitover Super Debate Money Bomb with candidate Congressman John Kitover? Because unlike Keegan or Diogenes, who will never get paid for being on this app, we are in the process of actually getting paid.
Whoa, God, don't say that, okay?
Yeah, never say never.
Yeah, never say never. I do believe Craig's gonna be a man of his word. Because listen, he was on a stage full of people on a replay saying, I said, are you gonna pay, sure? He goes, I'm a man, I'll pay. So listen, Craig, if you're still listening, buddy, little buddy, Craig, let me know. I can give you my Venmo. I can give you a cash app.
Craig just put in the chat that your wife is getting railed by 12-inch mango dick.
Whoa, mangoes.
Whoa.
Hey, there's some funky looking
I'm
peanuts,
sorry,
I'll tell
it
you
says
that.
mandingo dick.
Mandingo, okay. A little different. Whoa, John, that's a little different, John.
He says the fact that it gets you excited means you're not a man and you're pathetic.
Well, John, or, I Dr. John through Craig here, but Craig, if I'm not a man, then why don't you just pay me? You're a man, be a man. Be a man, Craig. You owe me that money, Craig. Where's that money, Lebowski? Keep my money, Lebowski.
He's coming to your house to hand deliver it.
Guess what? Hey, Craig, you want to come on by, buddy? Stop by.
He says he has
Also, Craig.
a
Also,
plane
Craig said
ticket. He has a plane ticket booked to Omaha, Nebraska, and he'll be there at your house by 8 p.m. Be strapped.
So Craig, I don't want to kill Craig. Now, if I have to, it's just another black man dead.
Well, don't say that. Don't say that.
I don't want to kill him. But if he's gonna come to my house strapped, then I would just assume he's not coming friendly.
No, he said you should be strapped. He didn't say whether he's going to be strapped.
Oh, okay. I should be sorry. I must have been
Is Omaha, Nebraska your home airport, Keegan?
Yep, Omaha, Nebraska is my home airport. Do love me some. Listen, I
Courthouses?
He says he's at the Atlanta airport right now getting ready to fly out with Brad.
Well, here's the thing. He actually, Craig, in my replay room, gave his address out. He said, "Here's my address." Well, I did decide. I was like, I do like this Zillow, right? I like to see where people are living. I wasn't gonna dox. I mean, he doxed himself. But I was like, I want to see where he's living. His address it doesn't exist. He said a fake address. It literally doesn't exist. I looked for it. I ChatGPT'd it, like, what could this mean? Can you interpret Ebonics? ChatGPT couldn't. So, Craig, you gave me a fake address. You're kind of afraid. You're a little afraid of me right now, Craig. If Craig was real and he was yelling out his address, yell out your real one. I you want to meet me, that's fine. But I don't want to meet most of you. Some of you, some of you I actually wouldn't mind meeting. But Craig, you gave me a fake address, buddy. How can I meet you if I don't know where you live? How can I come to your door if you give me a fake one?
Well, it sounds like he's gonna come to you.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's gonna save me the trouble. But again, I'd rather do this over a virtual exchange here. Where did you write that, though? One more outburst by you now. So if you're
Craig just paid me $100 to play that song in your room. Thanks, Craig.
did you actually get paid, John?
Yeah, he just donated $100 to my campaign if I was to play that.
Well, how come he can't get it?
Wow, yo, Craig. Yo, pay me that $1,000, Craig. You strap. Pay that white man, Craig. I'm looking for my reparations today. $1,000 is owed to me for 400 hours.
Yeah, why are you taking food from Keegan's daughter's house?
You're taking food straight out of the plates of my family, Craig. Craig, I'm a poor, white, low income, middle class American. Alright? I'm just a poor white man. And I'm just looking for my stuff. You know, I'm not gonna lie to everyone and say, I make $1 million, that's why I'm on this app every day. Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say, man, I started my own business when I was 18 years old and I'm now making $40,000. Yo, DM me and Nah, maybe. So I'm not like that, right? I'm not here to tell you that you can make $5,000 a week. I'm low. I'm low middle class, guys. I am low middle class. I like it though. I like being low middle class because people aren't looking at me that much, right? I just get to live my life. But Craig, you can help me out though,
Well,
Craig.
you gotta blame it on Clubhouse because Clubhouse is the platform that has contained you and brings you here to get you your dopamine, and you're not being compensated for giving all these other people dopamine, Keegan.
I should be compensated. All right, everyone. I'm putting my cash at my top. Yo, if you like my content, cash at me at least $15. All right, cash at me. Yo, I'm gonna pay for my lunch today. Yo,
You sound like that the kid from South Park.
Yeah, that's my Craig impression.
I thought that was Cartman.
You know, listen, I need to work on my black man voice.
So
That's
Craig
what
writes
you
in
I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Craig wrote in the chat and said you're fucking with a Crip and he's flying out to Omaha. He said he's strapped. He'll be there by 8 p.m. Don't be late for the showdown.
Don't be late. He's coming to my house. Craig, that's not how it works. Wouldn't it be you? Hopefully you're not late. You're coming to me.
He says keep your pistols cocked, you little white bitch.
Whoa! Threats of violence, guys. I'm not telling anyone to report threats. I would never say that. But threats of violence.
It would only be his 2000th account. That guy has probably had more accounts than me.
Listen, listen. If Clubhouse is real, if Clubhouse cares, that's a threat of violence right there, buddy. Now, of course, Craig, come on over to Omaha. We'll show you a good time. Let's corn hunt.
He writes your testosterone levels must be really low knowing that your wife is getting banged out by Mandingo Dick in Africa.
Woo! There we go. Craig, who's your baby mama? Who is your baby mama?
He says, bitch, I'm gonna make you my baby mama at 8 p.m. tonight when I touch down in Omaha, Nebraska.
Craig, who's your daddy, Craig? Craig, you know your daddy, Craig? What's your daddy's name? Ain't my name, Craig. You gotta keep that name out of your mouth, Craig. I ain't your daddy, Craig. I'm sorry to tell you. I ain't your daddy, Craig.
He says, you are so dumb.
Craig, why doesn't Craig come to my room, John? Can you ask John? Craig, come into my room. Talk about this. Let's be a man. Why are you hiding behind John? Come on into my room.
He just changed his PTR to 2 oranges with you sucking a big banana dick.
Woo! There you go. Craig, first of all, Craig taking the time to screenshot my PTR, and then probably AI, because I don't think he probably knows how to use like Adobe at all. Maybe he does. Um, very cute, very cute. I mean, you have another man's picture in your gallery. Listen, I don't have any. The only pictures of my phone is pictures of my family. How many pictures of Cray on my phone? I don't want any pictures of Cray on my phone. I would assume Cray is probably a fat.
He said after he takes you out at the showdown tonight, he's gonna fly out to Africa, rescue your wife from the Mandingo dick, marry her, and have more children with her, and raise your child as his own.
And then this is for everyone. Listen, guys, people are owed money on Clubhouse. It's time to get paid. Time, sing it with me. It's time to get paid. Time to get. Oh, come on. I mean, come on. What are we doing? Gucci was in the room. Gucci knows what happened. It took me $1,000. I just want to see if I can get paid for it. I just want to see if I can get paid. Craig, you owe me $1,000.
Well, it sounds like he's gonna hand deliver it to you.
Gray says he's never giving you the money, and he'll see you tonight at the 8 p.m. showdown.
Don't know that. Yeah, baby. Here we go.
I mean, it would be kind of crazy if you guys did this for saying
Listen, it would be crazy for one person, and that would be him, and then it would be crazy for the police to have to deal with the aftermath. And it would suck. I mean, listen, would it suck if someone threatened violence against my family and I actually decided to proceed on that violence? Yeah, of course. Like, those individuals, like, if that actually ever happened, like, you know.
Craig just put a reminder in the chat. He said, "Take my name out your motherfucking mouth, you whiteboard bitch."
John, tell me, would I have a legal case potentially against Clubhouse itself if Craig somehow was able to come to my house, show up at my house?
that already happens.
Yeah, there has been Clubhouse murders.
No, Clubhouse wasn't
Also, I just want to remind everybody in this room that I am not actually talking to Craig. I just want to let everybody know. I've been making all of this up, and Keegan has been role playing. We're actually coming out with a new theatrical performance called Clubhouse the Movie, and you've all been taken in by our bullshit. So congratulations. This was a role. We're reading from a script. This is a role play, and we're excited to announce that we've got a Broadway musical opening up in September of this year in Manhattan, where Keegan and I have produced the Clubhouse play.
the funny thing is, Keegan doesn't actually live in Nebraska. He lives in Manhattan.
Here's the thing. Everything I say about Craig, I want Craig to come to the room and actually, I want to get this money. I want to get this money. $1,000 owed. People ping in Craig. Let's get Craig in here.
See, Cray is actually a singer, and I don't know. Have you ever listened to any of his Best of the Bang recordings?
Well, everyone's saying don't mess with Craig, guys.
I don't know if you guys understand what Cray does. Like, have any of you ever been in an actual Cray room?
What does Craig do?
He creates bang rooms. He creates bang rooms where, you know, it's just the noise wall of screaming, but then he'll also play replays. So he's doing what they call, I don't know, this is why people are dying in their community, because the things that he's doing and the beefs that he, you know, does is what causes a lot of these social media murders in the gangland, community.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not too worried. I know maybe some people are who live in cities and metropolitan areas where drive-bys can happen, or shootouts happen all the time. Not in my community. Listen,
Well, then why do you have a gun on you right now?
well, I have a gun. Listen, the idea that you shouldn't have a gun on you at all times. First of all, it's your right as an American.
Constitutional right. If I'm kicking that, I've never even touched a gun in my life.
But you should.
That's why
You really should. Like, everyone should go try shooting a gun before. Like, everyone should. Like, me and my wife, we like to do a gun range date once in a while to make sure that we're still, looking good. Of course.
Yeah, who's shot?
Of course, I probably shoot about 6 to 12 times on my dad's farm. He lives a few minutes away from me. We like to shoot as a family sometimes.
What's the name of that trial? 1995.
Listen, I stay.
I gotta come back to me. Sorry, my brain is not working right now.
I stay prepared, like the boys like to
So
say.
what is to prevent
Listen,
in a secular democracy once there's 50.1% changing the Constitution and implementing Sharia law?
That's word
That
for
would
word
not
what I
be
would
good
say.
for anyone who's involved. That would not be good. So, people like to say a lot of things, though, of course. So I just want to get paid. That's all I want. I'm not threatening lives. I'm not trying to die over this. The man said he was gonna pay me $1,000 if I had said something. Um, and I didn't say it, and I won the bet. And I said, "Are you gonna pay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm a man. I don't back down from bets." And he's backing down. He's last week I went to a room that he was in. I said, "Craig, you owe me some money." And he said, "Kick this guy out." Like, Craig can act big and tough, and maybe with other
They're not a monolith, but I don't think that the majority of
people might worry, or that like other black people are right by them. They call up another black guy to go shoot another black guy.
Keegan, I think the point is you're not getting paid for all this communication that you put into this app, and that really begs the question of how stupid are you?
that's a big stress point that can challenge the government, and we need to have a see how
Really help me. It would really help me right now. And I thought making that bet, winning that money, guys, I'm poor. I make poor, poor white man. Okay?
But you do have a nice suit, though.
Well, listen, every white man at least owns 3 to 4 good suits. That's the rule.
Well, Ann needs a job. It sounds like you need a job, even though you are claiming that you're a diagnostic auto mechanic. T-Robs runs a successful internet business. David runs a successful manufacturing distribution. I'm running for Congress. Maybe we can all pitch in to get the campaign to elect John Kitover off the ground, and maybe I can hire you all to be digital marketing consultants for the campaign. Actually, Ann, you would be a perfect fit for the campaign because you have all of your social media and walk away content. So why don't you team with the campaign to elect John Kitover? I know you were with Joe the other day. Why don't we create a room today, Ann, and get to work? I'll pay you because we have $510 now in our campaign account, and you contributed to the campaign, so you're gonna get your money back. Ann, congratulations! Let's get to work.
And you can potentially get that $510 that you're getting from John Kitover and give it to me as payment for Craig if you wanted. Or everyone, listen, my cash app is on top. Everyone, I'm picking my cash app. Cash at me about $18 maybe. I'm sorry, that fried chicken.
I'll give you $15 for lunch, Keegan.
Man, I want $15 from everyone in this room. If everyone gave me $15, we'd be getting close to $5,000 right there. I'm looking to make about $250 on this and $300. All right. So
This is the next stage of the Keegan
I
show.
respect your intellectual
We've moved
argument.
on.
I think it doesn't protect that which we
I
have
don't,
today.
Right, so that's very well said, and what I was saying.
But anyways, Ann, seriously, Ann, let's partner with you and the campaign, and let's do more fundraising and get you paid and create some content. And also Augustus, he's holding regular X rooms, so I want to work with him and do some money-bound fundraisers with Augustus on X. So I know you have an X account. Oh, Pepe Pepiton is in the other room. Ooh, Roger's here. Roger Mayhem has re-arrived.
There.
It's important to meet
Guys,
these people with respect and curiosity.
listen,
and
it is really
No, and I don't need to be admonishing you or criticizing you as if I'm your father or something. You don't need me to tell you that as a reminder. I know you always do. But what I'm saying, I guess, Buttercup, do you remember what was the counter? I mean, the whole thing is.
Trash bag.
Yes, please.
My friend, sorry, I put
You
it in
can
the
call
chat.
me either one.
My friend, I put in the chat a link to Shaul Magid's interview with the forward. He's like in the Harvard Divinity School, but he spent many years in Israel. I think he was a settler at one point. And so he has a pretty well-rounded perspective on Zionism and the evolution and history of Zionism. He's a really smart guy. So he's the one who came up with this.
Buttercup, but what is Zionism, Buttercup? Buttercup, can you define Zionism, please?
It's a new vision for Zionism. Well, so personally, I see Zionism as sort of a dated thing that was successful at creating the Israeli state. It was really important after the Holocaust and World War II. I like this throwing the world around about who is or isn't a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. I really hate these labels. I don't identify as an anti-Zionist or a Zionist.
So is it important to have a Jewish state or not?
I define your state differently than you
Can I
do.
respond to this article? So in the article.
Jewish state?
I think it's Jewish in character. If the holy spaces are protected and people still come there for their history and their culture and to engage with it, then it's still Jewish.
What about
It's already like that. Israel's already like that. We protect Al-Aqsa, we protect the Kotel.
How would you have a right to annual time that you spend muting up versus continuing forward? And if you find that you always win, if you often are winning by barreling forward, you might consider letting other people win once in a while. So I'm looking in the article here. It says, I'm saying I'm losing and I'm gonna fight harder. So it says right here, Magid still holds on to Zionism's idea of a Jewish state for Jews, but he adds that it should not only be for Jews. And the land is not exclusively ours to claim or give away in the first place. I would say that this is a contradiction of how it is now. Israel is not only for Jews now. People can move to Israel now. There's a right of return that grants citizenship to Jews who want to return to Israel. That doesn't mean that people who are not Jewish cannot move to Israel. People who are not Jewish can move to Israel. They can become citizens. It's not as easy as the right of return, blah, blah, blah. But Israel is not only for Jews.
It's not possible.
It's not a Disneyland. It's not a Disneyland for Jews. It's not that these holy sites are. It's like visiting Disneyland. Jewish character is an evolving thing, and if it's going to evolve, it has to evolve in an unimpeded environment. So we have to put safeguards in place not to allow the Islamification of Israel.
You know, what's funny with the Buttercup with basically this is like a liberal point of view, right? He's saying like that the liberals are forced to support Israel, which is illiberal, and we want to turn it into a liberal state, which is more like not about the land, but more about like values. And do you think that the Palestinians want to create this liberal society based on shared values and morals? Like it falls right in
Equal right for all, and equal right for all.
This is like this is what I'm saying. It's like it's so unrealistic that even like debating about this is weird. When was it written, by the way? 2023. Weird. Okay. Interesting.
He has a
It
whole
was
lot
written.
given by.
So
He
it
wrote it
obviously.
before, but he's promoting it after October 7th.
Yeah. So on the 26th of December, like 2 months after the October 7th, this is when it published the counter-Zionism awesome rally.
talking
There's no
about.
ironclad guarantee.
Yes, but possibly, I agree, but the second fear was once
We're not laying that foundation trial. Look out for
I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this. I agree with you already, as I said several times. But the second question that I had for Buttercup was how will we ensure that those rampages won't stab each other in the neck of us? Because right now, there's
We already have that in Israel, but it's
right, and so I guess in the future, building in your world building future, I'll just answer. I'll give you my answer would be. Well, I would also say like re-education, perhaps, like what we did in or like what we did for the natives. Take the natives away. Bodies up in the schools, no digging up of dead bodies, no skeletons. Okay, well, Michelle, but just trying to respond to the meat of it, which is some sort of re-education seems to be necessary.
it will take multiple generations of breaking then the unrest.
That's a better way to say it.
How they disagree, we've got talks.
And Yahoo says they don't do this hard.
No, but someone brought up Arabs. I saw a 20-year-old videotape. Look at the videotape. It was a religious school.
This was not like this was the channel 2. To expose it, to talk about it, because it was so alright, I'm sorry, yes, okay. You see, it's not that and to try to make even when the Jew, German morality, Congress society, is not a thing because in every society we have like racism or whatever. Like we are persecuted. He was talking about calling a terrorist, when in fact he was just thinking because of the state that he was prosecuted, prosecuted for supporting terrorism. Instead of looking at it that, wow, this guy, this society thinks this shit serious. Basically doing the other way around. Same with this rape that happened in allegation in Kitover. It was published on Channel 12. It was came out from the investigation that was in the army. This is what should expect from a society. Not to really speak up for those people and celebrate those people, not investigate anything. So it's always flipped the other way around because we are not the society that criticizes us and even against us, look at us bad. What you we criticize ourselves. And this all those things that are used against us actually proves the way our society works.
Daniel, in America, our infrastructure, our political infrastructure, our institutional Judaism, we support your governments that the people overwhelmingly criticize. And that was not right. And so, in America, we have an obligation to tell our American institutions and our many organizations that supports BB's government at the expense of the Israeli people. I think that's where...
Monica, with like
Let her finish.
America,
I
they're supporting the government, the Israeli government, it has nothing to do with the relationship between Israel and United States. It's a unilateral government, but they will have elections, and in the election, it looks like they will not get into the game. It will not form a government. But this is how society works.
So in our country, we have something called
Democratic
a
democracy. He has many of those tax projects, which Israel
in
wants.
our politics and shape who gets elected and have a big state power with huge influence over our electoral system.
This is something that I have knowledge.
And it's okay for me to believe that 40% of the Jewish people in America or in Israel.
It's Israel. It's not about Jews. It's about Israel.
Israel's oppressive people. They were supposed to prime government. They were supposed to let U.S. government basically criticize the government. The redefining anti-Semitism, if you don't redefine anti-Semitism,
That's all. Where is this narrative coming from? From Amir's group.
I know that questions at the end. I know in John's rooms, no questions allowed. Questions are a distraction. But I have a question, which is like, where is this coming from?
It's all over the place. These are the anti-Semitic memes
I-
that you hear elsewhere.
But let her answer.
I'm going to share a documentary by an Israeli filmmaker
Okay, thank you.
that explains the American system and how it works counter to the Israelis'
Can I
interests.
ask you a personal question? Like, do you remember which friend of yours recommended this documentary? Was it like a friend that you're still cool with? Was it
Is this like a mind virus? Authentic?
Is it like a mind virus that somebody like gave you?
I'm not interested in her friends, and we've heard enough.
You need to know the friend's name.
Wait, let me ask Buttercup a question.
I don't even need an answer to the question.
Okay, good. Contact her back channel. It's not interesting to the room.
Wait, moderators, let me help clear this. Let me help clear up this conflict. Let me just ask Buttercup a question. Buttercup, Buttercup, if you were president of Israel, what would you do for your people? What are the top 3 priorities for you if you were the supreme leader of Israel, Buttercup?
President to this little power.
Okay, if you were the absolute leader of Israel, Buttercup, what would you do for your people? Give us 3 priorities. Since go ahead.
Well, wait, what was wrong with my question? I asked a question, then I was
Okay, so can Buttercup answer that question? Because
She has trouble staying on topic. It's not a personal matter. We don't care about her friends. We've heard enough from her. She wants a one-state solution. She wants to bring the Palestinians into
I'm open to 2 states. I recognize that 2 states has gotten much farther, so I'm
That's
open
not
to
gonna happen either, Buttercup.
Okay, so Harry, you just don't. You're a rejectionist.
I'm a realist. After October 7th, they're not gonna get a state. Get that through your fucking head. It's not that hard to understand. You can say it all you want, but that's never gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So coming and massacring 1,200 people and taking them hostage as a present for them for giving them a present, a state?
That's why they have no
That makes
president.
absolutely no sense.
That's why
And
they're trying to
explain
get
to her, Harry, why it wouldn't happen.
Because October 7th will happen over and over again if we get to a fucking country.
You're reinforcing the narrative that Israel is not a partner for peace. That's what you're doing, Harry.
No, Harry, Buttercup, Princess Buttercup, did you not see the problem that having terrorists around you creates terror? Israel is done with that.
It was tried out peace many times in history, and they were rejected every
What
single
does it have to
time.
do with Kahanis?
They're terrorists.
What is
It's a terrorist ideology.
God,
by
it's not
living in
ideology.
by living in peace?
on one hand.
No, but by living with wanting peace for in your neighbors in your own country, to not want your children, to not want to be able to not want to bury your own children, that's a Kahanist ideology.
The guys, for real. It's not.
Not there to go.
I'll come back at 5. I actually have a job that pays my.
Send your message for a good book to read.
Yeah, okay, and read my book too. Regis Marcus.
Just before you go, I know you have 2 seconds. Is it a common ideology to not want to bury your own children?
No. If it's a yes or no answer, no. It's not a kind of ideology to not want to bury your own children. It's also not a kind of ideology to want water when you live in the West Bank.
But is it what other country, the United States, when they went to war with Vietnam and the other countries they went to war with, did they bring water supply, food supplies for them?
Alright, this is a cruel and inhumane.
No, it's not. I'm asking you a legit question because how is that like?
You're right, fuck it. Fuck children, fuck people. Who cares if children die?
Not fuck children. You're right. Like, children should be preserved and saved. But you have to look at who's
Like
putting
in
the
the water.
children in harm's way.
Alright, I gotta go.
Why?
Sorry.
Why?
She has to go.
How come Hamas never thought of this before putting their children in harm's way? Why is this Israel's responsibility? How come people don't understand this?
Don't start a war you're not prepared to lose. Exactly.
You can't punch a guy in the head with a gun and you only have a walking stick and then complain that he shot you.
Don't yell, baby. See, it's coming from a complete Palestinian point of view. It's not a Jewish perspective. It's at one talking point after another. She spends all day in the Palestinian rooms and then comes in here and repeats what they
See,
say.
that was this Western, highly liberal, the world is a kumbaya place. Sure, it's like Palestinian. It's just like, can't we all get along kind of bullshit. Like, it's...
Yeah, we could get along if they didn't shoot rockets into Israel and then invade Israel on October 7th. And I mean, I'm talking also before October 7th. These people think that like before October 7th they deserve to
Guys, from the 70s, the late 70s, man, even the early 70s. I was there in 78. The fucking home I was living in got blown up by a fucking Katyusha rocket. This is not new. I don't understand how people are saying this is new. Like, the people that we're arguing with, they've been shooting tens of hundreds of thousands of rockets into Israel. Like, I got hurt by a rocket when I was 1 year old. I had to be rushed back to Canada. My mother rushed me back instead of staying there to get operated on. But to come back to Canada to go through surgery, extremely sick. This is not like, you know, let's talk about 2021. No, this has been going on for decades. People have been shooting rockets into Israel.
But we're not feeding them well enough.
When I was living there, I remember we had to put on gas masks to, prepare for the fucking Scud missiles that were being shot over by Iraq. So yeah, I mean, this is nothing new. This is in the fucking 90s, man. This is like going back to back. We can keep going back to 48. You know, it's nothing. I just don't understand. Like, these people don't understand history, and they think that now, after October 7th, they deserve a fucking country. Yeah, right. That's never gonna happen.
Exactly.
I bet you they would have had a better chance if they brought us baklava instead of killing our children.
I just wanted to say, I think it's really unfortunate what you had to go through, BB.
No, it's nothing, bro. That's nothing compared to what Jews and Israeli citizens, mind you, they're Muslim, they're Hindus, they're Jews, they're Punjabi, they're Sikhs, like, I don't know if you confuse that one up, but there are all kinds of religions inside Israel living, and all they want is peace.
And there are ones in tunnels right now.
That's true.
Or wherever they're being held.
Julian, you the one who wrote Free Palestine?
I never did that. No, I didn't.
He writes it in the rooms, in Amir's rooms, in the Free Palestine rooms.
No,
he comes in here acting like he's an advocate for Israel.
No, I
Ben
don't.
City.
I think that woman's been in Amir's room for months. I don't think she's been on the app for a couple days. I seem to remember her there.
It's a very long time, for hours and hours and hours and hours. And then just in the Mikhail room, same thing, anti-Israel. She wants the same thing that the Palestinians want, which is the one-state solution, which means bringing our enemies into our country. The people who want to kill us, the people who tell us they want to.
Demographic typo.
It's not just demographic. They want to kill us.
Get the vote.
They got that. Wait, before that, they want to kill us. They
whole thing failed in the 90s. It ended after we offered them the state. What? She's 100% anti-Semitic. He left what? We didn't tell you this because he left Judaism. She's Jewish, but she is anti-Semitic. Yeah, she left Judaism. She's a dissatisfied customer.
Which Buttercup practice Patia? Normal?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, I think one thing you have to realize is that it's politic.
No, guys, she's not Jewish, and she's not doing takia. I mean, there is like this war on truth, and a lot of people that, I mean, part of it is because she's Jewish, but because it's pulling on those like Jewish morals. She just like misinformed you. So, right, but in it's very well packaged, and she needs help. Like, I don't think that she's doing it on purpose.
It's not even that unusual. There are other Jews who are anti-Semitic. They're not that rare.
I don't think that it's anti-Semitism. I think it's closer to what Daniel said, and I gotta be honest. Norm, I mean, I really feel strongly. I mean, I don't know any of you guys, but I have a very strong opinion of you guys. Norm, I love you very much. I don't want to say I love you because I don't even fucking know you. But I didn't mean to move you to the audience. But we don't have to talk about that. I was upset because I was interrupted. But look, about Buttercup, my point is I really think that you guys are missing the point. I think Daniel is the closest to the point, or maybe Yaakov is also good. All of you guys are well-intentioned. But I don't think she's anti-Semitic. I don't think she's hateful. I think she's more like indoctrinated. I think she's more like me from 10 years ago. And the thing is, you know, I clawed my way out of the left through a lot of pain and a lot, like I got hit in the face a lot to get my way out of that way of thinking. And if you met me from 10 years ago, it would have been trash bag times 10, and I would have only been welcome in Amir's rooms, and I would have been friends with those guys, and down a horrible, horrible, horrible path. And so,
getting into psychoanalysis rather
yes,
than
very
just
much. Very much.
looking at what you see right before your eyes.
But you've got to look past what you see right before your eyes, right? Because there's so many. It's a very Jewish philosophy. I don't even know the Hebrew words, but there's the world that we see, and then there's the world behind the world, and then there's the creation of that, and then there's the Ein Sof, which was before that, or Norm can help me out, or something like that. You know?
I look at the shot.
Well, I want to hear more about that, but look, if one sentence conclusion is that if these people are misinformed, Daniel and everybody else, if these people are misinformed, then you must, and this is like it's a tall ask, it's a high order, but you must then become a teacher, you know? And so the challenge is, I think, what's that?
I don't know enough to be teacher.
Well, then stay on mute, you know?
We can't teach people that don't want to be taught.
Well,
Understand?
yeah, but you got to sneak up on them.
It's not going to change anything. We've been doing it on here for 5 years, and it's literally the same people that come on here with this rhetoric haven't changed anything. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So, I mean, like, I agree with you. I'm all for education, but it's unfortunate that indoctrination, took hold of these people's thought process. So, and it's not even indoctrination; it's just a hatred for Jews. That's what it comes down to. We're always going to have these people.
It's a hatred for herself.
What
She's
is
an as a Jew.
Hasbara?
It needs explanation. She's an as a Jew. As a Jew, I advocate for the destruction of Israel. That's what she's doing. The things that she's advocating lead directly to the destruction, to the genocide.
Yeah, but she's advocating for the best that we can do for one cause is Hasbara.
I spoke to
egalitarianism.
what she said. I think that she hates Israel, and it needs to be dismantled because it's immoral. I was listening to her a few nights ago. She said she hates Israel so much she needs to be dismantled. Listen, I saw Agazani's Jews, and I don't think that she's one of those that advocate. I think that she's actually looking to find out because she is listening, she is checking.
No, Daniel, I think you're wrong. She's coming with her pre-assumptions about Israel.
Yeah,
Israel is
she
a bad
is coming with
state.
pre-assumptions. You're correct. She is coming with pre-assumptions. You know, a lot of them, like every fucking sentence.
She also believes everyone's equal. Like, she wants, I hope I pronounce this word right, I never can, egalitarianism. She just thinks, everyone should have the same say in the matter.
You're getting into psychoanalysis.
But that's where it comes from. It's deeply embedded within.
No, you're describing what you do, Yakov. You're projecting.
My evaluation of listening over the past week, and
You're
it's
projecting.
not coming from a safety standpoint. It's coming from a, well, if we just give them what they want, they'll just not want to kill us.
Right. That failed, unfortunately. Pragmatically, she now advocates for the end of Israel.
Yeah.
And it plays right into the hands of the people who openly advocate for the end of Israel, i.e. genocide. That's what we're looking at now.
Right.
And the value in Israel is the Jewish character of Israel. It's not anything else. I mean, it could be other things.
Yeah, for me, more important is the safety of the Jewish people. We don't have, if we are spread throughout the world, it's easier to kill us. If we have one place to go to where we can defend ourselves, it's a lot harder to stamp us out. If the shit is defending the United States, I'm going there, and I want there to be safe.
Right, that's the common explanation. But besides that explanation, there's the character of the state of Israel, which is an unprecedented thing in the modern world. A country that is the Jewish state. There hasn't been a Jewish state in modern history.
2,000 years.
Yeah.
So I wanted to point out what my friend said, that we don't have like taxi drivers or people like killing random Israelis. That's because, and somebody should have pointed out, this is because of the amount of control Israel has. Back in 2015, with the amazing Intifada, right? What's it called? Sufetan. Like there were people like, if Israel did not have as much control over what it does, if the Jewish state didn't have the amount of control that we have, then people would have been killed in the streets. And people, I mean, nobody pointed that out to her.
May I say something again? Because I just came back and I was listening for a long time. And at that time, I said, why are you giving this woman a platform for hours? And I came back and there she was again. I heard her say, one state, two state, who cares? You know,
Exactly. Good point.
and she also said, now I can't even believe I can't think of the word. You know, coming back, for God's sake, help me. Coming back to Israel is calm. Or wanting a
Yeah.
no, but just the normal word. Oh my God, yeah, thank you. She goes, you know, Zionism is a new word or something like that. And I'm like, you know, when I was a kid, we had cards from Israel, and we put dimes in the card. When there were 10 dimes, we could plant a tree in honor of anybody we wanted to honor. Okay, Zionism is not a new word. I mean, technically, you know, Herzog, whatever. But my ancestors have always, don't we pray next year in Jerusalem? Have any of you heard that?
At the end of the Passover Seder. At the end of the
Okay,
Passover Seder. Next year.
We also
but
pray 3 times a day for Jerusalem to be restored.
okay, so when I first got on to this Clubhouse and to X, I was like, I talked to a lot of people. I talked to the Black Israelites. I talked to Nazis. You know, I believe in optimism and conversation and freedom of speech. I really do. And then I was hearing stuff about Zionism, and I go, what do you mean by Zionism? I mean planting trees. What do you mean? And there's this whole language is really important. The word Zionism now is a pejorative. Okay, it's a dirty word. Okay, I don't know what about.
For some, that's propaganda for some.
Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm referring to. How could it go like that? And then I've gone even deeper, and I don't know who was in here, I said, the room is full of incredible people. I would love to hear their ideas on how to go forward with all of this.
But Korean, this communication is normal. This is what happens every day on Clubhouse, and it's been going on for 5 years. This is actually what really happens on Clubhouse. What you've listened to, and even what you're saying.
Okay, I don't understand what that has to do with what I just said, which is I would love to hear from the other people in the room, and instead, and okay, I'm a therapist, so she took control for hours.
She wanted to center herself, and so we engaged in a dialogue, Jew to Jew. I don't think it should continue. I agree with you because in the end it becomes very personal, and then we're not really learning anything. She's just sort of trying to center herself and work out her ambivalence about her Jewish identity. That's what we're really looking at. If you want to look at it from a psychological perspective, she's ambivalent about her Jewish identity, and she's acting out on that.
And you are all being very Jewish and very kind and sweet and listening and trying to educate her. I get that, and I love that. I love that about us, that we will do that. But 3 fucking hours, I think.
I'll take as long as it needs to take. I honestly don't care.
Korean, if
It's just encouraging her to keep going.
Korean, it's the dynamic. It is the fact that BB and other mods, and she sounds like a cute little girl, having her flamboyant opinions, her flippant opinions, her die on the hill, all or nothing opinions. That's her politic, though, and I don't think people realize that all communication is politics, and she is literally doing political projection in a Jewish, room or a Jewish audience. But I think most Jews should realize that in the future or now, you will always encounter other Jews who are radically politically, radical and political in their communication. So that's why I say don't entertain it. And I think you're right, giving somebody a 3-hour platform is madness, but there's only one way to counteract that, and that's to censor it or change the conversation.
Or allow other people to speak, and 3 hours is a really long time. So, a moderator, whoever's leading the room can say, can we hear from somebody else or whatever? Or take a thread of what she said, like 1 state, 2 state. No, those are 2 different things.
The 2 different things, which is hilarious because what it shows that she doesn't have a clear conviction about something that she's arguing for. She just wants to be oppositional. So she centers herself. She has all this attention. I guess she enjoys the attention.
I don't think she has to give her any more attention now that she's out of the room, frankly. She did what she does. She's very, like Devin said, she's oppositional, confrontational, and obviously self-hating and ambivalent. And let's talk about the issue instead. So I want to, like I said, this is what's happening, the realignment of the world. I'm not saying this like in some sort of conspiracy theory way. This is literally what's happening right now. Is that the United States, which is the world superpower, economically and militarily, undisputed, by the way, unopposed, the United States is saying to Israel, we want you to handle this. So Trump has given Israel whatever it needs to win the war, which is, I think, just and fitting, since we represent American interests in the region. And the American interests in the region are the Abraham Accords. The American interest and the world interest is peace. And the way to achieve the peace for the Arab nations and for the Jewish nation and for Lebanon, which is a mixed Christian and Muslim nation, to get onto the same page and to do business and to get put all of this wasteful wars behind them. non-negotiable that they be peaceful. Those that are not peaceful, they're going to be involved in a war, and they may
effort to force Israel to commit genocide, and Israel has done its best to avoid committing genocide.
Can I say something about the room title?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the problem when people start talking about genocide and the war is it just becomes that tunnel. But you know, in terms of clubhouse safe space, you know, the now is all important. And if you want to have safety and security, that means you need situational awareness. That means what you're listening to and what you're saying. But in my opinion, the biggest danger is not what you're saying, but what you're listening to. Because we are memory repeating boxes, and after you get conditioned with enough bullshit, you will come into these rooms and make it an unsafe space for other people and regurgitate the hate speech, racist nonsense that you have basically conditioned yourself on, you know, through all that other content. So I'm just saying that, you know, in terms of situational awareness, I don't think that you can destroy a mind virus or help cure someone's mind virus by having conversations with them. There's no education in a conversation. It's basically heated politic. And that's why I encourage you all to have a book club or a book reading room to help break people's trance or hypnosis or mind virus on all the real politic that they like to spew out. You know, El Normo and I and Zach and I and maybe Harry, maybe BB, I don't know, we've read Tanya as a solution or a way to help people break their mind virus, to wake them up, to say, shit, you know what? I'm being self-destructive doing and promoting what I'm saying. Because if you're rooting for the other team, you know, you need to learn the rules of baseball. So that's my opinion. I'm complete. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we should read the book about colonists for them and give them an idea of what being a colonist is, because they think that that's like being a terrorist. Like she actually mentioned that in the room earlier. So that's a very important. There's no mention of any kind of terrorist activity in a colonist movement actually. So that would be actually a good book to read for them.
You know, I want to criticize Israel about something. The other side has wonderful propaganda. Israel has shit for propaganda. I just found out, for God's sakes, I'm educated. I just found out how many rockets have hit Israel this past year alone. Okay? Nobody in the world knows this. If I don't know this, nobody else knows this. Israel does not share information. People don't even remember what suicide bombers were. Okay? They're absolutely uneducated as to the history, the recent history of Israel. So I think we need some reality going on, because you know, anytime I talk to a friend in Israel, it's like, oh, gotta go to the shelter again. You know, every fucking time they're running for cover. And I heard it was over 10,000 bombs that for this year. Yeah, the Tanya, that's beautiful. I'm all for all of that stuff. Absolutely, it's a wonderful idea. Because people think, I don't know, what do we do? Make matzah, blood, or whatever.
Well, it's the moderator's job. You know, if they're not going to read a book with the moderators, I mean, you might have to read to them.
Book club, you know, John, and that's why you record, like, you share the rooms in another room. It's because if I had a book club room, there would be 2 people here. Me.
Well, that's okay. That's how you actually start doing tikkun olam. You can't repair the world until you repair other people and help repair them. They can't repair themselves.
But I think people are beyond that, John. I think people are beyond that, and they want to hear action and excitement and this and that. But
no one is beyond Torah. No one is beyond Torah. It's the truth.
Right. You're absolutely right. But if we indulge ourselves in Torah, and then we speak of what we learned and engage that in our conversations, like, put it like this, any normal Jews wouldn't have given her a time of day. They wouldn't have spent 3 hours talking to her. I think it's because we fucking care.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
fine if I think it's fine if you spend your time in loving, selfless kindness. But I'm a big promoter of education, and I don't think you can actually help cure people's mind viruses unless you use Torah or some type of wisdom education. And so you are admitting, in a way, you're spinning your wheels by having a 3-hour convo. I'm just saying, try to make use of your time more productively.
John, do you think that let's play this out here. Do you think that, like, for example, let's bring in all the people in our mirrors room here. They would come in here. You think they're gonna give the time of the day to sit here and fucking listen to that shit? You really think that, John? Come on.
No, I'm not saying there's a speck of dust out of place. I'm just saying I was very depressed one time, and very, very depressed. And I went to a Chabad rabbi, and he let me say my piece. And guess what his advice was to me? John, you got to be productive. And so I'm just reiterating that. At the time, I didn't necessarily like that response. But now, after reading more books, I do understand that our time really is truly very limited. And if you want to optimize the situation for Israel or yourself or other people on this app, reading a book is the best way to help optimize your time.
John, by reading a book, I have two questions for you. Number one, by reading a book, are you being productive or are you being consumptive of other people's media? And number two, when are you going to write a book?
Listen, wisdom and Torah is what I'm talking about, my friend, and I encourage all of you to pick up a Torah book today and read it.
I would consider it an accomplishment if I did a wash. My clothes are dirty.
Listen, I feel for what you're saying, and I agree. But the thing is, at the end of the day, these people don't want to learn. That's the thing. They have their narrative in their head, and they'll stick by it to the very end. That's it. So, I don't, like I said earlier, I don't care. I'll spend fucking 30 hours with that bitch. I don't care. I will sit there to expose all of her lies. And you know what? And I love the teamwork that we have with a lot of the people in here that do it as well, because it's just so easy to debunk. And at the end of the day, I like making people look stupid. So if she wants to come in here and make herself look stupid, by all means, come in here and make herself look stupid. It's not a problem. And then we give them the time of the day to actually say something and speak, right? When you go into the other rooms, they just kick you down as soon as they don't like what you say. So at least we do that here. Now, at the end of the day, I can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped, right, John? You woke up one day and said, you know what, I want to help myself, so that's why you went to the rabbi and talked with him. These people don't want help. They believe in what they believe, and they will to the end of the day, to the end of their life. That's it. Just like Hamas, it's the same kind of ideology. So that's how I see it.
And what about the people that are learning from the conversations that we're having with her, that are in the room, that were a little bit on the fence and didn't know how to express it, and it just sealed it for them, and they're like, you know what? It is propaganda. I am being indoctrinated. I learned something by listening to like Harry, El Normo, Devin, Samson.
I'm not saying your show's not good.
No, but what if one example of a conversation with her helps 3 other Jews?
No, that's fine. I'm not saying you wasted your time this morning or you will ever waste your time. I'm just merely advocating for every 10 hours of Clubhouse. More Torah. Yeah. Torah for breakfast, Torah for lunch, Torah for dinner.
Can I say something? My life was changed by Anne Frank, and I played her in high school. So I have a really, really deep connection to her. And what struck me about Anne is that one person, one child, gave somebody to focus on. And she is the face of the Holocaust. And she's reached more people than any kind of book or, unless her diary, than any other kind of interference or, I'm sorry, I'm grabbing for words, I'm not doing very well. One person can have a great deal of influence, and there's something about that phenomena, and you can't really pick in advance what that'll be, but it's there. And I would love, just reading a little bit about Golda Meir is life changing, But yeah, anything from, and I like to study history through biography.
that's the problem. A lot of Jews are moving away from the Torah, and that's what's hurting. John, before you give me the thumbs down, I think Jews are actually really getting away from the Torah, as opposed to yesterday. I was at a ceremony where my cousin, they bought a Torah in dedication of his late parents and uncle, and we did a whole parade and this that. It was amazing. It was so beautiful, and there was like 4 other Torahs, and we were marching in the street, and such a beautiful thing. And I brought my tefillin, and I rapped, and I was rapping a couple guys, but then there was like people that I know that are really good, and they're struggling with business and life, and they look like they're doing amazing. And the rabbi asked them, you want to rap tefillin? And they're like, no. And then another guy, rabbi asked, the same guy, you want to do tefillin? He's like, no, I already did. And I looked at him and I'm like, yo, bro, why don't you do it? He's like, that shit ain't for me. And I'm like, and I didn't want to pry and tell him like, you should. But like, how does a Jew get to that point where that shit ain't for him? Like, before when I started my company like 28 years ago, it was predominantly all Jews, and we would stop by the rabbi once a week, and everybody would wrap tefillin, and then I'd cater to lunch, and we would all have lunch, and there was one Jewish guy, out of spite, on purpose, he's like, I don't rap. I don't do that shit. I'm like, how do you not do that? And to me, that was a big problem, because like, we're all like, there's 95% of us are all Jews, everybody's doing it. The goys, they wanted to rap tefillin. I was like, why don't you want to rap tefillin? He's like, oh, my father works for a cemetery, a funeral. He does such big blessings, we don't need to do that. And I'm like, wow, how fucking stupid are you? But no, but that's the problem. Where the simplest thing, and I actually timed it, how quick I can rap tefillin, is 3 minutes. 3 minutes of your day. To give people, it's an amazing thing because they say give back to Hashem, but really you're giving back to yourself because you are Hashem. So to give 3 minutes to yourself, like I think what you said is extremely important, and I'm really resonating on what you said, and it's very valid. And like to talk more about Torah and to talk about being a better Jew and to study and to ask those, the Jewish questions. And that's why like it's my favorite time on Pesach when, you hear the story with the child that asked the questions. But I think there's Jews that they just want to say they're Jewish, but they don't want to do anything Jewish.
Well, her role in the room, that woman, Buttercup, was to, I think, jog our in order to have control over our thinking.
She was making us more Jewish.
much. And this guy, he's a Puerto Rican that converted to Islam. And he has so much to say about the Islamic place that I've never been, never set foot there, has no connection or religion. It's in it, at the end of the day, all it is just Jews, right? So, I know there's like neo-Nazis in America that have turned or white supremacists that have not, turned away from that. So it is possible that that can happen, right? But I feel like what's going on today is all this. It's so hard. Some of these people will never know any full nature, and that's what pretty much Hashem is intended to happen. So the world is not a perfect place, right?
See, the problem is, if you don't inject Torah or wisdom into any room, eventually the room will collapse because it becomes an echo chamber. So, I mean, having the contrarian position, your position is how you have a fun conversation and reveal a silver lining, which is always Torah.
Well, you know, a wonderful way to go into to really go into a conversation, whatever it is to ask questions. So the first time somebody says, you know, oh, the blood to make matzahs, and instead of freaking out, which I do, I get very emotional, I'm triggered very easily. But if you can be calm and go, well, wow, where did you hear that? Well, it's in the Talmud. You know, which Talmud or where or whatever. And you just kind of draw out. I mean, I've actually, quite honestly, I'm a therapist, I'm a family therapist. I worked with a Nazi. His daughter was very sick mentally, and I just went ahead and worked with the family for years. And the kid did really well, and the family got better as well. And when we ended the sessions, this was through school, I got my supervisor to do by the way, I'm Jewish, and he wanted to show me his thoughts to tattoo on his chest. And I bumped into them later, and they were did they know that you were Jewish before they gave you on? Yeah, when we ended the therapy, I mentioned, by the way, I'm Jewish, and my supervisor said, why did you do this? Really unprofessional of you. But I was just being human, and my dad was in a camp, for God's sakes, and I lost my grandparents and my uncle in Auschwitz. So it's, you know, and I grew up, I don't share this with them, but I grew up here in Auschwitz when I was 5. I had waking dreams, I guess they're called. So I'm very, very infused with the Holocaust and hatred for Jews. It's in my DNA. And I was able to, you know, because there was a child involved, I was able to overcome all of that and work with his family. And I'm not saying it's going to happen with everybody, but this is what the Torah says. You change yourself, you do more good deeds, period. Pray more. I know it sounds silly, and I'm not really great. I love Allah, but I don't know the rules. I'm not great too as far as, you know. And I decided I want to say the Shema 3 times a day. But I was like, you know what? I don't know if this is okay with God, but my reticence says it's not okay. I'm not a fighter. And I found out, yeah, it's okay. As a matter of fact, most Jews, religious Jews, do say the Shema a few times a day. And, you know, the clouds part. There's a spiritual realm that we're also existing in. been fired. I work for the government, in the school system with children. I would have been fired if they knew that I was quietly praying every time I talked to a kid. Because I was. Because all healing comes from God. And that, when you look at these people who are full of hatred, they're brainwashed. I mean, on every newspaper, even Haaretz, right? There's Jew hatred. It's all over the place. So we're not looking at normal anything. How many of you have liberal friends that say, well, of course I'm not anti-Semitic, it's just, Israel. What the fuck does that mean? They're, I don't know. And God help us, my family, my Jewish family is liberal. They feel the same way. The hatred is all over the place, and the lies are everywhere. These 300-pound women are allegedly being starved in Gaza. Okay, how's that happening? People will believe anything. And yes, have Jews done bad things? Of course. Everybody does bad things. Every group of people does bad things. But, whenever there's a crime, do you read, oh, that the criminal was a Protestant? Oh, the criminal was a Catholic? No. If they're Jewish, yeah, you will hear that. The criminal was Jewish. And for some reason, we all pay, every last Jew pays for every fucking Jewish criminal. That doesn't happen in other groups. So, yeah, the cards are stacked against us, absolutely. And it's rooms like this where we touch base with each other and support each other. And, yeah, we called out, somebody's taking over the room and manipulating.
You've taken over.
Huh?
You've taken over.
Because I'm a therapist, which means I'm a manipulator. So, no, love you all. I appreciate what you're doing very much. And, I need these. These are rare rooms to find, let me tell you. That's why I jumped in today.
Karina, in the chat, I put a recording I made. It's the prayers of Reb Nachman, and it's only about 28 minutes, but it's an incredible book. I read it, I don't know, 10 years ago, but I put it on YouTube. I put the link in the chat. If nobody's ever heard the prayers of Reb Nachman, you can hear me, John Kitover, reading them.
John, can you tell people the story of Rebbe Nachman? He's amazing. Hold on, I gotta call.
I can't really tell you the story, but I would encourage you to read the prayers because it's a program, a neurolinguistic program on how to communicate with the divine. So it's incredible. It's a 28-minute prayer recording it's his prayers written in a book, translated from Hebrew. It's an unbelievable book.
Thank you so much. Sounds really good. I'm an NLP person. I've had good results with that therapy in the past, so it sounds really good. Thank you.
Yeah, they call it dialectic therapy or dialectic therapy. It's called reading a book. And if you read it out loud and listen to yourself reading it, the therapeutic effect is even more profound.
That's absolutely true. Your word has a great deal of power, especially when you're speaking the truth. It has an amazing amount of power. So, yeah, that's why we have to be careful with our words and not be manipulated by them. Like safe and effective. You gotta watch out for some words because they're manipulative.
I asked AI, I couldn't remember, but I had heard a story about life being compared to a long bridge, and that the aim on this journey of life is to walk this bridge, which life is compared to, and to not be afraid. And I said to AI,
Faith and, read the songs of David. Maybe a good idea.
I remember a story from Rabbi Nachman. There's a book that when you get married, like a rabbi gave me it, and it was a whole book about Rabbi Nachman, and it talks about a story about a Jewish guy that he wasn't religious, and he slowly started to become religious, and he started paying attention to how many times or how much hours he was spending a day praying, and he started praying 5 hours a day. And he would have 3 or 4 meals. He would sleep 8 hours. He would talk to people, and he said, "Wow, I'm wasting so much time talking to people, eating 3 meals, sleeping. I could be praying more." So he quit his job. And he started praying 14 hours a day, eating 3 meals, sleeping a little less. And then he started upset, and he's like, "This isn't enough." So then he got a little shock, and he started praying 20 hours a day. And he had 4 hours left, so he would sleep for an hour, and he would eat his meals, and then he said, "Wow, I'm wasting time here. By having these meals, I should grind them up or make them into liquid. And I could sleep 15 minutes, use the bathroom, and he had it all calculated out. And he started doing 22 hours a day, and he left the rest for 2 hours, and he's like, "I could do more." And he stopped eating altogether, which in turn led him to use the bathroom and no sleep. And he started praying 24 hours a day, and he started to feel so ill that he walked out of his shack and he died in the middle of the center of the town. And everybody ran up, and nobody really engaged with him, but they're like, "What a tzaddik, this guy!" And everybody was running up, the Jewish thing. They were kissing his clothes and saying, "This guy's amazing. I can't believe it. He gave himself to Shem 24 hours a day." So he goes up to heaven, and he's walking. And before you get to see God, there's the guy. And the guy goes, "Where the hell do you think you're going? With your head out like that, and you're so confident, you're just walking like you want to see God." "Because you know who I am. I put in 24 hours a day. I'm a super Jew." And the guy goes, "You're the worst Jew." And he was appalled. And he was like, "What? I pray 24 hours a day." He goes, "You think God put you on this earth to pray 24 hours a day? He put you on this earth to be tried, tested, to be patient, to raise a family, if God willing, if you can, to be there when people need to ask questions, not to isolate yourself from society, not to be able to help anybody." So the whole lesson I got from that was, be patient towards your fellow brethren, sister. They're going to ask you questions that are going to trigger you, but that's what you're here for. Not everything's going to be easy.
I just checked history, the great story. My history on Iraq, and it says yes, there was a little piece of Jewish that aligns with the analogy you described. It comes from Rabbi Nachman of Breslau, 1770 to 1810, a prominent Hasidic master. His famous teaching.
Stand in your back like a wall. These lines there tell you. Tell us your footsteps. Their whole world. Sorry, I never take my stride. Don't deny it, I'll go on. I'll stand for as best I can. Put a date on it. This is all I'm saying.
That's right.
Don't ask me what I'm trying to say, but I'm reading the transliteration.
Yeah, though, is no fear.
I think there's something going on where people are using this as a way to gaslight in the hardest ways possible through words, and it really does come down to setting.
And there's also the thing where there's a story too about Jews and having faith. So Jews are saying, "I'm going to say
Constitution, we're not in position that we are to show bringing you the Constitution, 16
times it's not.
the tickets for 20 once, and
the
every
lottery
year
that night for
he
20 grand.
goes to the
He goes
United
down to the show,
States.
like, hanging out with the rabbi. And he goes, yeah, face of the show. He said, absolutely. He says, you're going to win? He said, yes. So how much is it? Exactly, he said, 20 million.
Both transparent.
He goes, I'll give you $5 million ticket now. The guy goes,
Trump, which it's not 3,000.
I just proved to you you don't have faith in the show.
Under Trump.
Why don't you want to have
This
it?
let's just continue talking about time.
You know what I mean?
Well, I lost faith. I can't believe it because I was so sure, because of all the things I've gone through in my life. And then, last couple of weeks when Iran was fucking with us, I actually went to bed wondering if Israel would exist the next day. Because the first time my faith was literally disappeared. And it was a horrible, horrible experience. And I learned my lesson.
I don't think you lost faith. I think you just got your faith tested.
Okay, thank you.
You know, the most amazing thing about losing your faith is all you have to do is pick up a good Kitover book and reread back into the script.
I have a good, praying to God's little thing.
All you gotta do is read a book, ladies and gentlemen.
Whoever was here when I was telling the story to the I just now I lost the top of the conversation that you guys were asking about the chat because I'm sure my mom had confusion and stuff. So there was this guy who was drowning in the sea, and I don't know if you've heard this before, but this guy on a rowboat comes by and he's like, "Oh, are you okay? Do you need help?" And he goes, "No, it's okay. Hashem will save me. Don't worry. Him and I are close. We're good." Then 2 hours later, somebody on a sea comes by and he's like, "Do you need help?" And he's like, "No, it's okay. Hashem's gonna save me. I know it." And then the next time a boat comes by and he's like, "No, Hashem will save me." And he ends up in heaven. And then he's like, "Hashem, my budget just with me." And he's like, "What do you mean? I sent you a boat and I sent you a laser and I sent you all these things. What more do you want from me?" Anyways, yeah, it's maybe. I tried to say.
Yeah, it's amazing how if you just start talking about Toyota and you lead people back to the source, materials, all the other propaganda and real politics just melts away in the face of the beautiful shining light of the Toyota. Yeah, but I've got the air conditioner running, so most people can't hear it.
Is it playing live right now on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, you can click my profile and view my YouTube URL, and you can watch me in my Trump hat having a conversation with you.
Thanks, Rudy. Nice to meet you. Thanks.
Waiting to myself, is it better that they remain in the room so that they hear how we relate to each other? Or are they just like recording, manipulating, like sitting there waiting for some sort of weapon to use in their arsenal of lies against us? So tell me, what do you guys think? Should we let people who are fully dedicated to destroying us, are they supposed to be in the audience? What do you think?
I think we do because we have nothing to hide. We, if somebody was just listening to the past 20 minutes, we were talking about love and respect towards one another and teaching and learning. Total, I think amazing.
I agree.
Well, even if you were to kick them, you would just be creating a $5 a month subscription revenue for Clubhouse Anonymous. So if you want to help the app grow and help them make more money, you should kick them, just so they have to get anonymous. Just so they can sit here and listen anonymously because you decided to kick them. But listen, I just want to say, I asked Buttercup, who has now returned to the room, about an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, tell us your definition of Zionism. She told us her definition of Zionism, and I gotta say, Buttercup, you basically come to these rooms to do real politics. I think your communication is political, and therefore I encourage the moderators to limit their communication with you only if you're willing to engage in reading Toy Room or some type of wisdom material, as opposed to spewing real politic all the time nonstop. I would just encourage you to read a book to the room or join a book club or the moderators to do more education through reading books, as opposed to letting people run their motor for 3 hours straight. That's like letting a car sit in your garage in your house and run its motor for 3 hours with no exhaust. Now, who am I to judge if you like to breathe, toxic fumes? But I'm just saying, Buttercup, when you park your car in the house, all you do is fill the room up with toxic fumes. I would encourage you to open your garage door and turn the motor off and maybe read a book. I don't know, I hope that was constructive, criticism and feedback, and not, too harsh, because I do think, you are needed. You pose the contrarian position, so without you, there really is no conversation. But I would just encourage people, for every 10 hours of Clubhouse conversations, maybe read a book for 10 minutes, 10 not 11, 10 not 9. Books.
I mean, feel free to put some book recs in the chat. I recommend some books. Other people recommend books. I also love reading and started another chat. But that's what this for. To share ideas and share book recommendations. That's what the chat's for.
Oh, I agree. I just encourage everybody, for every 10 hours of Clubhouse and heated conversations about real politics, maybe try reading a book for 10 minutes on the app for every 10 hours that you spew your toxic dust.
Scholarly articles also on this, and also I like reading law and policies so I'm not the biggest novel reader, but I do like to read information from other sources. That's all I want to say.
That's not Honey's mom. That's not her.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, I don't know who this lady is, but people said that they've known her for a while. Somebody said that I know said that they had her blocked already, and so she changed her.
Funny how she keeps saying, like, I've only been out for 5 days, then she said 4 days, then she said she said 3 days.
I also want to point out that I find it amazing that we call, the listening gallery the goo, because that's like the gulag. And essentially, communists who build gulags ultimately end up residing in their own gulag.
It's so interesting that you mentioned communism because I'm studying it now. I'm studying the rise of Stalin. I'm studying the Cold War and the Palestinianism, the Palestinian attack on the very existence of a Jewish state, the very idea of Jewish sovereignty in the land, which is now, of course, established. It's not going anywhere. Is modeled on communism, in that it is a totalizing ideology that does not allow for honest dialogue. It's just a series of delegitimizing of the very premise of Jews and of Jewish sovereignty. For example, there's a reason why they call the brutal medieval butchery of October 7th the Al-Aqsa flood. Think about it for a second. It's because they want to build their mosque on top of our temple and erase our existence. The way that, for example, they erase the existence of the Hagia Sophia in Constantinople by turning it into a mosque. The way they destroyed the Buddhist statues of the world heritage sites in Afghanistan. They want to erase any other identity. Otherwise, of course, they'd be willing just to live peacefully next to us, and they wouldn't be arguing over this piece of land or that piece of land. I should point out that the Al-Aqsa flood butchers, they don't care about Judea and Samaria, the West Bank. There was no way that this was going to improve their position in terms of land. The only thing that they wanted to do was destroy Jews and then to lure us into Gaza so that they could massacre us, so that they could ignite the ring of fire and then bless all of the people at the same time. Bulgaria attacked some Jews, while Russia attacked Kurdistan, while Iran attacked, while Iraq attacked. All these things happened. It's just different for every country. So they said it was a full-on They then accused us of doing exactly what they do, and this is over and over again. They do some unspeakable, abominable act, and then try to do moral jujitsu and accuse us of doing the very thing that they did. And that's where the genocide thing comes from.
It's like a passive aggressive behavior where, when you're talking with somebody and they're purposely trying to trigger you, and they're like, whoa, you're getting emotional. And they just trying to get you more triggered.
It was part of the plan all along. They also knew they wouldn't be able to take Israel. So, I mean, thinking about it, they knew they would be able to kill a certain amount of people. And then they understood that once Israel was retaliating, they were just going to so I think what we are doing, what is happening, is kind of what they planned for all along. This media campaign. And I think that there's also any sort of coincidence that as soon as it happened, or even right before it happened, there was sort of an
Serious question.
Well, the thing is, people are always going to have an extreme contrarian position in the game of politics. And the situation in Israel, its surrounding area, their own little political bubbles with Hamas, etc. I mean, de-escalation, harmony, peace, balance, all these things come through communication. And unfortunately, what can you do when you're fighting with suicidal, terrorists who are willing to go to the ends of the earth, to prove a point? So, and it's not just proving a point, it's they're in an all or nothing position. So, I don't know, does anyone here have a solution, or is it just break the siege, end the war, fight it out, rescue the hostages? But I don't know, this is a quagmire, or it could be a Pyrrhic victory, or it could be a stalemate, or it could be, there's a lot of game theory approaches on how to create the best optimal solution, which is unfortunately going to hurt a lot of feelings. There's a lot of people on this app and people in the real world whose feelings are going to get hurt at the final outcome, because every war has a beginning and an end, and that's just like relationships.
People will be solved that, people will get very angry, but the fact is, who has the best is to decide from the best is when we look for Buttercup, takes three to the communist way, that is the Jewish population become minority, and she said yesterday, so so, and John, I kind of just think that people really morale inside, but I think the solution is to come up. The solution is,
Norm, did you know, since you were talking about communism or Russian Soviets, I mean, the whole thing about Zionism is racism that came from there.
Yeah, of course, I remember very well. Believe it or not, yeah, I know it does.
I just don't know if anyone else knew
So,
that.
so what we're facing is an ideology, which is known as Palestinianism. It's not really a statement. By the way, the leaders of the Arabs of Israel never asked for a state, which is why they don't have one. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking here. So, the Soviets just created the idea of Palestinian nationhood in 64 under with Arafat. Arafat's name is not Arafat. It's not Yasser Arafat. It's like Abdul Rahman, etc., etc., etc. He's not from Palestine. He's from Cairo. And together they cooked up the terror campaign, the first and biggest terror campaign in modern history, based on the Bolshevik terror campaign, hijacking airliners, hijacking cruise ships, and striking civilians. This was like a sort of a step, a development in Palestinian terror. And what the member of the Knesset, by the way, of a relatively liberal party in the Knesset, she's no longer a member, her name was Ina Wolf, pointed out that when they say they want to return, what they're talking about is what they did on October 7th. That's what return looks like. So when they say they've concert, and old people living in little kibbutzim around the region in the Negev. Old people, young people, families in their beds, and people in their pajamas, unarmed people, just to make it very clear. I want to address a couple of the comments in the chat. You said Gaza was a concentration camp. That makes no sense. Gaza is composed of a number of cities. There were full-fledged cities with luxury apartment buildings, BMW dealerships, and water parks, beach clubs. They were full-fledged cities. There's nothing concentration camp about them. Not only that, 20,000 Gazans came into Israel every single day to work in Israel, to work in the places, and to work in the homes that they later returned to slaughter their former employees. And they made 10 times what they make in Gaza. The day rate in Gaza is like 40 shekels a day, and they were making 400 shekels a day in Israel, 20,000 a day. Now that combined with the $250 million a year aid that the U.S. gave to Palestinians, the aid that flows in from Europe and Qatar, adds up to more money flowing into Palestinians, so-called refugees. A definition of refugee that has never been used before, such as many other people. A definition of refugee that allows you to inherit that status indefinitely. More money poured into them than was spent rebuilding Europe under the Marshall Plan. So I want you to think about that. At the end of the Marshall Plan, we got Europe at peace, vibrant, functional economies with tourism and all sorts of industry. What we got out of pouring all this money into the Palestinian folks is what we got was October 7th terrorism. So we have to rethink again the model. This is why we had to rethink the way aid's being distributed so that we don't continue to fund terror groups. International recognizing terror is not just equal to terror. It's what the world defines as a terror. So this is directed in the heart to somebody I don't know, called Aaron, in the chat. If you want to come up and talk about this, I can. Otherwise, you can keep posting your silly nonsense in the chat. There's no connection to the facts of reality or to honest truth. You're just spouting Soviet-style propagandistic nonsense.
So Al, exactly. We're studying communism right now. I'm actually studying a bit looking into the era of nationalism and the origins of it. It seems that there's a lot of crossover between communism and communistic ideologies and Arab nationalism. But they kind of seem to go hand in hand. And they both also seem to have an interest in the destruction of Israel.
100%. I want to hear more what you learn about that from him because I'm now listening to lectures given by Stephen Kotkin, who seems to be the foremost authority on Stalin and the Soviet Union. He's quite a brilliant scholar and writer. And this really comes into focus once we understand the all-encompassing, impenetrable, authoritarian, and totalitarian ideology of the Soviets. By the way, I was with a bunch of journalists a couple nights ago who had covered Gaza and Judaism area, and the censorship on the part of the Hamas is absolute. You're not permitted to show the war crimes that they're committing if you're working for, take the AP, Associated Press. Hamas didn't allow people to leave, but didn't allow take them at their word when they say they want to kill us. Humor and comedy, I say this as a Jewish liberal from New York.
You know, I hate to break the bad news to a lot of people, but, you know, life is war. And that is a hard thing to really wrap your head around because you want the world to be at peace. However, it does seem that the status quo is war. So I think there's two optimal, you know, situations. One is you prepare for war, but you live in peace. So the point is, this is, you know, October 7th, Supernova Gaza. They did it to themselves. And if you watch the videos of the leaders of that radical terrorist movement holding up babies with AK-47 screaming into mics, nonstop murder, death, mayhem to Israel and the Jews. It's so sick that, unfortunately, you know, they did it to themselves. It'd be great if somehow there was some type of, you know, de-escalation. But if you live by the sword, you will die by the sword. And unfortunately, you know, you fuck around, you find out, and they found out the hard way.
Yeah. I mean, the October 7th, the tragedy of our losses resulted in an entirely new world order, namely that Israel emerges, at least in the Middle East, as a regional power. We exposed Iran as a paper tiger. We defeated Hezbollah, which actually had much greater military capacity than Hamas. By toppling Hezbollah, we then toppled.
SIBO works 24/7 to kill 99.9% of bugs trapped.
And now we have to.
Buying this phone is a total no-brainer.
No-brainer?
Our role as the world leader and now act to compassionately and with democratic values exercise our against Aaron. But the truth is Israel hasn't done that. And I've looked at some of the bullshit propaganda videos, and they are, from a journalistic point of view, they're just a bad joke. I would go so far as to say you can't show me one single IDF soldier who has sniped a Palestinian child. Now, that said, if that child is carrying a weapon, or if that child is in an area or a building, a school, a hospital, a refugee camp that is openly being used by Hamas as a military asset, that's a different story. Because like him a lot, you know, like him. Everyone knows President Macron of France, who's been with me from the beginning. One of
Oh, Norma, I'm wondering if we could maybe read a page from the Tanya book.
Good idea. Let me grab mine. By the way, I'm sending you the bill for that book because I bought it on your recommendation. But actually, I should just send you the money and send the bill because the book is worth its weight in gold. So, hang on one second. I have it in my hand. It's now. I keep it in a place where it's easy to find it. Hang on.
Oh, she signed it?
So, what it'll take is to get
She said something. It's really
I think you can read number 10, number 7, number 21.
Let's take a look at 10. The purpose of transformation. To the completely righteous one can say, eradicate the evil from your midst, for they know only good, and employ the pleasures of the world solely in service to God. Such people are called those who ascend, for they lift up even evil to its source in the good. Do not imagine you are such a thing, as Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai says, I have seen the ascending ones, and they are rare. Even Rabbi Chaya, who thought the way of ascent was walked by life. Continue on page 37. Only those who can realize darkness as light and bitter as sweet may enter here. The purpose of this transformation is the unification of the transcendent with the immanent, even in the lowest of worlds. I think what they're saying here is don't mess with trying to transform evil into good unless you're a good scientist, unless you're a whole person. Just focus on doing good until you get there. That's my takeaway from this.
Do you want to read the sub notes or the commentary?
Okay. Okay, so the first note is, only those who know the unity of opposites in God can achieve this awakening. The next note is, God discloses a transcendent one and the immanent in many. Immanent meaning dwelling within for those not saying immanent. And I don't mean immanent, it's not the nominal coming soon, but immanent meaning residing within. The transcendent is called the Holy One and is said to be the masculine side of God. The immanent is called Shekhinah, the presence of God, and is said to be the feminine side of God. Beautiful. The realization of God non-duality, which is called Da'at Devakut, the awareness of the unity of God, man, woman, and nature. Complete Kakikim are those B'nai Aliyah, those who have arisen. You heard it, if you were listening, you heard me mention that a moment ago. Who know that there is no darkness without light, or bitterness without sweetness, and who, thus, see all opposites as manifestations of God. This is Da'at Devakut, the realization that the Holy One and the Shekhinah are one. The complete tzaddik knows this innately, and the in-betweener has to attain it through disciplined practice. So this is very Tanya-ish, because it acknowledges that most of us are in-betweeners, as they say. Most of us are people somewhere along the road trying to make ourselves better. This is incredibly helpful, John. You're like changing my day just with this little bit. I salute you. And I'm gonna put one of my little French railroad tickets that I saved from my travels recently to mark that page in the book. That's beautiful. Thank you, John.
Yeah, I think if you want to counteract the negative neurolinguistic programming of this app that people condition themselves on, you got to read words of Tanya and Toiber. Because that's the higher intelligence. So, that Benai, is it Benai Israel or Benai, anyways, it's, if you read Benai Israel, read that first part of the commentary, because there's 2 pages of commentary on that.
Well, why don't you read it? I'm looking at the chat now, and well, you can read that if you want. Somebody says Anne Frank used a ballpoint pen. Anne Frank did not use a ballpoint pen. She used a fountain pen, as far as I know. The Gentile uprising is now. I don't see any Gentile uprising. What I see is the United States opposing China. Then I see a bunch of Nazi stuff, which I'll just take a moment and report as hate speech against race or ethnicity, advocating Nazi genocide of Jews. Thank you for playing.
So I'm wondering if I can make this a super safe space for Jews and play the Shema.
Why not?
Constant reminders of your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis can make it hard to be there when it matters.
song's called Poppy Rose. But that is the Selichot, which is the Sephardic Persian Shema.
Can you play another? Bro, I'm cutting the line right now on my tractor, and you were playing that. I felt so amazing. I don't know if anybody else minds. Can you play another Sephardic prayer, maybe like a minute or two, if that's okay with everyone?
Yeah, I can play that again.
Absolutely, it's not negotiable with my family.
Let me play this song, Poppy Rose, and let me take a break from the intense Shema. Okay, let me go back to the playlist.
That's important.
Yeah, that Shema is very powerful. Most people have never heard that Shema. When I first came across it, I was like blown away at how amazing that Shema version is. I can play that same one again. You want to do that?
Play whatever BB is asking for. He's mowing the lawn. Play something cool and Sephardic.
Okay, I'll just run it back. Here we go.
So we're going to a property in Bellwood, and we're trying to figure out whether it makes sense to wholesale.
Eloheinu,
Yeah,
So I'm
exactly.
gonna be playing it again.
Yeah, you want to hear it one more time?
I have another thing to play, which I think is good.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Contributed by ECK in the chat. That shofar is very inspiring, obviously. It's what we play as we're going into battle, or before we go into battle, and it's what we play on, or blow on Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, to wake us up and to repent. And here I'm going to play something that ECK in the chat turned us on to, so I have to change my audio settings. Let's see.
Yeah, it has to be above, and more higher than it'll say that Jewish.
Say again. It'll be above like normal, high, and then there'll be a setting that says Jewish. You're very funny. I know. It's music. I know, music mode. But this is a cool Sephardic thing. By the way, I'm going to make a confession that when I was at the Koto just recently on Shabbat and davening, the coolest, the most musical, and the most impassioned and flavorful service was the Sephardic service. So I was inexorably and helplessly drawn to the Sephardic minion. So that's it. I crossed over. Now I'm going to play this. Hang on now. Go.
You ain't the first races, and you damn sure ain't the last, bro. Play the new movie, bro. Play the new movie.
Alright, guys.
Get some new material, bro. That's new fake.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the kitchen.
Greg says it's totally real.
No, you just sit down, make some spaghetti and meatballs in the kitchen. You're not gonna.
Hey, what's up, Alan? Let me look at the link he posted. Alan, I'm wondering, can you hear me, Alan? If you're on mute, I can't hear you, but I'm wondering if I could read a poem to kick off your room.
Thank you for reminding me. I forgot that I was on mute. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Yes, you can.
Okay. This comes from the Tao Te Ching, which is by Lao Tzu. This is the 25th verse. There was something undefined and yet complete in itself, born before heaven and earth, silent and boundless, standing alone without change, yet pervading all without fail. It may be regarded as the mother of the world. I do not know its name. I style it Tao, and in the absence of a better word, I call it the Great. To be great is to go on. To go on is to be far. To be far is to return. Hence, Tao is great, heaven is great, earth is great, king is great. Thus, the king is one of the great four in the universe. Man follows the ways of the earth follows the ways of heaven, heaven follows the ways of Tao, Tao follows its own ways.
Interesting. Does that mean you're pro-theocracy?
Oh, look, it's my friend, the trash bag. Alan, in regards to your question, am I pro-theocracy? Can you explain theocracy to me, please?
Just a second, but before I do, I just want to make sure I did get it right. You would have voted against the big beautiful bill. Did I understand that, Leslie?
Yes, I would have been. I would have voted no.
Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't really put a fine nub on that last night. I meant to, and I got a nightmare that I had failed to do that. Theocracy meaning a government that is run with the intent or the idea of God, that God is running the country through a king.
Yeah, definitely against that.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, that's the whole basis of our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence.
Separation of church and state, buddy.
Well, yes, but I'm talking also about the Declaration of Independence against the king and eternal separation from kings. So no kings. However, I would say during the No Kings protest at the local park near my house, I was shocked to read the really anti-American vulgarity that children were writing on the ground with chalk, and parents were, I could tell obviously they're part of the communication chain. But if that's the programming that our children are receiving now to be, I would call it TDS, Trump, Orange Man, Bad. Trump seems to be the cast-off for all projection, and he is the number one man. So I'm not saying he's a king, but as the commander in chief, he has an incredible amount of power. And when presidents are no longer president, they say, "What do you miss most?" And I heard George Bush say this. He said, "It's the power. It's the absolute power you have." So there's no higher high than being the president, because it's like being the Pope. You're infallible, and everything you say is part of history. So I don't really have a point per se. I was just, in regards to this Axios article, I'd have to put my email in to continue reading it. But to me, it's a perfect clickbait title, and I appreciate it because, it's really good. It's worded quite well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, what really got me going was the idea that if there was a war, Trump, you heard the press conference, you may have heard, if there was unfortunately I can't find the article right now, but if there was a war, Trump wouldn't have to face an election in 2028. Well, in the first place, he's not eligible, and I hope you would agree he shouldn't be made eligible for a third term.
No, of course not. He's not going to one-up George Washington. But in terms of FDR, I think that situation, World War II with FDR, is a very special situation. And I do not believe Trump will have his presidency extended, nor will he run another time.
Yeah, FDR was definitely a unique situation. But it wasn't against the law. I think you and I would agree. his claim is absolutely absurd.
We have very reliable election cycles and a lot of legal law or election law. So I have no doubt that our election cycles will basically never be interrupted until the time this country gets invaded, which could be 300 years from now. Who knows?
Yeah, or could be a little less. Well, I'm glad to find areas where we agree. I'm also glad to find areas where we don't agree, but I'm really glad that you agree that he shouldn't have a third term. I'm really glad you agree that we shouldn't have a theocracy. I'm really, really glad you agree that you wouldn't have voted for the big, beautiful bill. Those are all wonderful things to have noted. So,
Well, I'm running as a Republican and I'm wearing a Trump MAGA hat. So, explain all the contradictions, but I think that most people are more aligned on fiscal conservatism and pragmatic spending. That's the one thing everybody agrees on because that's how you live your life.
of course, except Trump doesn't reflect that. I mean, I respect that you are telling the truth about Kitover, and I'm actually quite amused when I go into some of these other rooms that at the, how do I say it nicely? I don't mean to insult anybody on the app, but the intellectual level on this app or in the country in general is very scary to me. We became great because we had a great education system, and when you look at the level of absurdity that people will accept, it just makes me a little crazy.
Well, I read books, and when you read books, you get into higher levels of intelligence. And, my friend and I here, the Trash Bag, have read books together on this app. And so, as a Green Bean moderator, I just believe it's your leadership responsibility to not just have conversations, but also read from books in the way that I just read that little poem to help open up your room.
Agreed. Hello, my friend. I don't know this person.
This is Zach.
Hello, my friend.
This is Zach. He goes by my friend the Trash
It's
Bag.
your friend the Trash Bag.
Why have you chosen that moniker?
Well, a while ago, John told me that the Trash Bag was too self-deprecating. When I first got in this app, I was using my real name. I was just Zach Ruda. Because it says when you get on this app, it says we use our real name. So I used my real name. But then I got removed from the app a few times. I kind of developed kind of a negative reputation among some circles, and I got a lot of accounts deleted. And then for a while I was Ishmael the Gorilla, because I don't know if you've ever read Ishmael by Daniel Quinn, but that's a great book. Okay. And then I was the Trash Bag. And John said that it was too self-deprecating and that I should be something more empowering, like a nature hero or something. So then for a while I was your friend, my friend the nature hero.
Are you and John friends or enemies? I don't understand.
No, we're friends. We're friends, yeah.
Yeah, John is my friend.
We text each other. We are in open communication. I have no enemies on this app. I'm open to all communication, and my name, my number, my address, everything about me is public, and people call me, people text me, and I reply with hopefully positive communication every time.
Interesting, because when he came in and you called him my friend the Trash Bag, obviously I didn't know his history. So it implied very, minorly, I will admit, and I'm glad I inquired about it. It implied something that wasn't the case. Very interesting.
But I am your friend, the Trash Bag. Look at my picture.
No, I can't.
Oh, well, Alan, you see how you have a picture of your face and you're holding a sign that says No Kings?
Yeah.
Well, instead of a picture of my face, I have a picture of a trash bag.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to be funny, Alan.
John has a picture of his face. He's wearing a MAGA hat. He's sitting in his house. He's sitting there. He's smiling at the camera. I have a picture of a trash bag. It's just a joke. It's like a clubhouse culture. Are you new to the app, Alan?
No.
Oh, well, I don't know. It's just a stupid joke. My name is Zach.
I get it. No, it's just the pictures. I don't get the pictures, so it's why I don't do a lot of social media.
Well, my name is Zach. It's not Trash Bag, but some people call me Trash Bag.
And where do you live, Zach?
I live in Portland, Maine.
Oh, okay. So are you
losing to John's campaign?
That was my question, yes.
Geez, maybe I should. Yeah, I was teasing John that I was going to come to Chicago and help to collect signatures, and then he sent me I know you're looking for people, John, and I haven't got back to you yet, but I don't know about that. I mean, no, I don't know. I guess so far, no, I haven't made any financial contributions to John's campaign.
Well, it's so fascinating because whether I agree with John or not, I commend that citizens are trying to get involved in the act. And I think if one thing is exciting to see in this particular time is that ordinary citizens are trying to step up and take a part. Whether we agree or not is not as important as the fact that people are making an effort. And in one sense, Trump may make America again because it will make America involved again.
Well, I heard this quote the other day. It said the greatest punishment for refusing the responsibility, basically, let me try to shorten it. The greatest punishment for refusing to rule is being ruled by someone inferior to yourself.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Anson, or good afternoon, I guess I should say. I am wondering if you saw Trump today saying that if there is a war, there would not be an election in 2028, and I wonder what your reaction to that is.
I did not see it, and I've been glued to the TV for a better part of the day, watching as events unfold in the White House. And it's ridiculous to suggest that there would not be an election in 2028. And, that's insane. If he said it, then I condemn it strongly. But today, to me, is not about Trump. And that's the reason is history truly in the making? And when will we know? I see some really very important. Did anybody here listen to all of the leaders speak briefly? They're now in an enclave talking privately, but they did open it up to the press. Did you see the comments that were made around that table? And is that something we want to discuss, or would you rather just focus on Trump and some insane comment implying that we're not going to hold an election in the United States? It's whichever way you want to go.
No, I'm thrilled that you agree with that comment just a little. And I have no need to stick on it. Unfortunately, I was tied up this morning in some other meetings, so I didn't see what McClellan said and so forth. What inform us?
Well, first of all, the captain is delusional. Who's the captain?
Trump.
Okay. All right. Thought somebody might be taking a shot at me.
No, absolutely not.
I'm laughing. I'm not that important.
Well, you are. I think you are.
One of the things that was said, and I think it was the Prime Minister or President of Finland, who does he have Trump's ear? But anyway, somebody said that we today, in the last 2 weeks, the West, have made more progress in ending this war than we have in the last 3.5 years. And sorry about. But this is my hope, my anticipation, and it has nothing to do with whether I like Trump or not, or whether he's a bombastic son of a bitch and an idiot for calling for no election in 2000. I mean, no, all that is just crazy. I'm instead focusing on what I just really, I guarantee you, last Friday when we were all when I was sitting around waiting for the press conference following the summit with Putin, and I told my companion as we were waiting, I said, we may see history in the making with this press conference. And after that press conference was over, I was so disgusted. I was outraged. It was a travesty. And there should never have been a press conference. Putin should never have been given the stage to give the speech that he gave standing by the President of the United States on American soil.
Thank you.
If he wanted to give a press conference, he should have gone back to Russia and given his own goddamn speech.
Thank you.
And that was a travesty. But now, look where we've gone. Just look at Zelensky and how the tone of, you have to watch it for yourself. And I can't adequately describe it all, but my hopes are that history is in the making. And I'm waiting with bated breath to see what's going to happen in the next fairly short period of time. We could have a peace treaty in a matter of weeks, not months.
Yes,
On the other hand, we could have a continuation of the war with not the end in sight.
I want to give other people a chance to ask you some questions because you're more knowledgeable about this than most people. I have two questions for you, and then I want to let other people in here ask you questions. My question is, why would the U.S. Congress be involved in ratifying a peace agreement between Russia and Ukraine? That's my first question.
Because there would be a security agreement that would require long-term U.S. commitment to the security of Ukraine. And the only way to make that stick so that it's not subjected to, from one president to the next, is with some form of treaty, whether it's a multilateral, it's not a NATO treaty. It is not a NATO commitment because I don't think Putin will stand for a NATO admitting Ukraine to NATO, or even maybe give Ukraine, and this has been a topic of discussion on the news, an Article 5-like security agreement, but not a NATO agreement. Now,
That's a good answer.
Difference between that. Okay.
That's a good answer. I just want high level. I don't need to get into the weeds. I think often these discussions break when we get into the weeds. My second question, and then I'm going to ask Steve. Steve's going to get the next shot at asking you a question. Do you think it's a fair agreement if the children that were stolen from Ukraine are not returned to Ukraine?
No, and that was discussed pointedly by the European Commissioner, the woman. There are two women in the room, the Italian Prime Minister and I don't remember their names, but she brought that up, and Zelensky brought it up as they made their brief remarks going around the table. And that should be part of the treaty that Russia and Ukraine would sign. And returning those children, as well as returning all the POWs and all that as well, the normal kind of prisoner exchange when peace erupts. But returning the children is an item on Zelensky's agenda, and it's important and will be discussed, but the details will have to wait.
Kind of prisoner. But the good news here that I find very exciting is you agree that those children should be returned.
Of
and
course.
Okay, that's very good.
Now, how do you know you're gonna get absolute